were just trying to figure out if everybody was okay. They didn't know they were dead just yet, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's still a lot of questions about this case this morning, Judea. So far, Atlanta police haven't said exactly what led up to this shooting, but we do know an Atlanta police officer and a woman were found fatally shot inside of a home here. This is right near Piedmont Park. Now, Atlanta police got to this home here right around 4 p.m. yesterday, as you mentioned, responding to a welfare check. They say a friend called that in. That's when police found the officer and a woman dead inside. Atlanta police are calling this an isolated incident and say they're not looking for any suspects and there's no threat to the community. Now, take a listen to the briefing that Atlanta police gave last night following this incident.
Good evening, everyone. At approximately 4 p.m. today, we received a call here on Coolidge Avenue for a welfare check. Our officers responded. Once they responded on entry, they located a male and a female deceased inside the residence. Once inside the residence, excuse me, I'm sorry.
It's just tape.
Yeah.
We've got that music playing. Hold on.
And I'll start over. Are we waiting for them to go through?
Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. At approximately 4 p.m. today, we received a call for a welfare check here on Coolidge Avenue. Once we arrived, we located inside of the residence 2 individuals deceased, 1 male, 1 female, who suffered from gunshot wounds. This does appear to be an isolated incident at this time. We have confirmed that one of the decedents inside of the location is an APD officer. That's all we have at this time.
If no questions, thank you, everyone.
No, what the officer is a female or male?
Not releasing it right now. Not releasing it.
Right now we're not releasing that. We do have a team of our investigative units that are currently handling the investigation. So right now this is a death investigation. It is ongoing, but that is the preliminary information that we have for you at this time.
Did you know it was an officer knowing the address, or did you have to go all the way inside to find out the information?
We did not know at the time we received the call that it was an officer. It was some speculation that it may have been, but we did not confirm at that time.
Are you able to share what caused the need for the welfare check? Did they possibly not show up to work, or have no one heard from them in maybe a few days or something?
It was some friends who were trying to check on their friends.
How are
anybody else in the home at the time?
Nobody else was in the home at the time.
How are your people doing?
To be expected. They are grieving. We do have employee assistance available for them at this time.
If there are no other questions,
Whether the officer had been with APD for a lengthy amount of time?
not providing that right now. If no other questions, make sure you go to the website there. You will find any updates, and we'll post them as appropriate. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And our teams on the ground here did speak with a neighbor last night who identified the Atlanta police officer as the male victim or the male person rather, who was shot here inside of the home. Right now, Atlanta police have not released that officer's identity or the identity of the female who also was fatally shot here as well. Certainly still a lot of questions, Judea, that we'll be working to find out throughout the day.
And I mean, Kim, you said it there. There are so many questions, and it's hard for me to, hear the details, hear the facts that they're giving us, and not speculate, but that is our job to not do that. So as far as we're concerned, we're waiting for Atlanta police to give us whatever other information they can about this. You haven't heard anything else, right?
Not so far this morning, no. Atlanta police did encourage reporters to keep checking for updates on the website, and so far it's just the information that they released last night. Of course, we are expecting to learn more throughout the day.
Okay, and just repeating for everybody who's just now coming in, they have said that everyone else in the area is considered to be okay. There's no longer a threat in that area, no threat as they have been able to report since this all unraveled. Kim, thank you so much for bringing us the latest on this. We're going to keep going with our top news of the day. Another thing that happened here, maybe you saw the notification on your Fox Local app, or maybe you were just on social media and you saw all the videos. A couple hundred teens were in Atlantic Station. The police say they caused quite a bit of havoc. So here's what we know about the situation. They're calling this a case of some unruly teens. They think about 400 to 500 of them were in the area popping off fireworks in Atlantic Station last night around 7:15 p.m. They say that those teens were shooting off fireworks across the shopping mall. They were also launching fireworks into the crowds. Officers had to come to the scene and get everybody, because not everybody was, taking part in it. Some people were just those innocent bystanders. They had to disperse the entire crowd and get everybody to start heading home. We had some video that shows the area. I mean, you can see all of those cars. You can see all of those people just standing around. We also saw that 17th Street was closed at the time. A police helicopter circled the area. Dozens of officers were on the grounds with sirens blaring, just trying to clear it out as quickly as possible. Now, they're still investigating this. Right now, no charges have been involved. But remember, I told you, police say they do believe there were at least 400 to 500 teens involved in this incident. And as far as we know, there was no gunshots or anything like that, just fireworks being shot across the mall and into crowds of people. All right, let's move on. We heard about a Tennessee fugitive that was caught here in Georgia. You can see that car had gone off the road, maybe even totaled. Here's what we know about this situation. It was a high-speed chase for an attempted murder suspect. It ended in a crash and an arrest out in Gordon County here in Georgia, but started all the way in Tennessee. So let's start with exactly what happened out there. There was an individual wanted for attempted murder in Tennessee. They had gone on that high-speed chase in a truck, at some points having speeds up to 90 miles per hour. They were traveling eastward on Red Bud Road when Calhoun police, who were chasing them, it ended up in a crash inside of the road. It looks like kind of like a ditch over there. They say that during the chase, that driver had swerved into traffic in and out and just basically caused a dangerous situation to anybody who was on the road. In order to get all of this to stop, deputies performed a pit maneuver, and again, the truck went off the road, ended up down the embankment, and that person was apprehended without any other difficulty after that. Authorities did say that there are no other suspects that they believe right now to be at large or on the run, and there's no current danger to the public, but just a bizarre situation that unfolded in our neck of the woods, but like I said, started all the way out in Tennessee. Now, right now, unfortunately, I don't have the name of that suspect for you, but as soon as we get it, if we get it, I'll be able to get that out to you, but that person was accused of attempting to murder someone else. All right, coming back to me in studio, got Alex Forbes. Alex, weather has been top of mind for everybody, especially because we had such a warm Christmas holiday. Is that going to continue into the near?
Here's my forecast.
Whoo, no!
North Pole, yeah. So I've got a big time change on the way here across north and central Georgia. By the way, that wasn't planned. I just thought of that just now. I'm kind of proud of myself. There you go. So yeah,
always on.
We're in the 60s in many locations right now. That's all we're gonna do today. That's after 78 yesterday.
Yeah,
that was the record high. So we'll get to that here in just a second. 59 in Atlanta, 61 in Covington, 59 in Eatonton, 54 over in Blairsville. So here it is. The record high temperature 78. The previous record was 75, set back in 2015. We also defeated a record from 2015 on Christmas Eve. So this is the second record to go down. Whenever we crack open the books, it's going to say 2025 a lot. Now, it's not going to last. We've seen some fog out there this morning. I'm sure you've shown some of the cameras downtown. We had a ground stop at the airport earlier, although I still have questions about that because I got an email from the FAA saying that there was a ground stop. But then it never showed up on their map. So, well, I know whatever was there is not there anymore, but still something we'll keep an eye on. I saw that fog at the airport, and that has since lifted. Still looking at no visibility in Noonan, 1 mile in LaGrange, and 3 miles over in Eatonton. So through the day today, it's going to be a pretty cloudy day. Only a 20% chance of a passing shower here through the afternoon. Temperature's only going to touch about 70 or so. 70 in Canton, 72 in Dalton, 73 in Eatonton, and 73 in Thomaston today. Mind you, our average high temperature is 54, so we are well above that here across Metro Atlanta and North Georgia. Pretty soon, we are going to be well below that, all right?
Oh my gosh.
So here's the deal. Monday, tomorrow, is going to be a little misleading. 58 is going to be our high temperature for the day, but mind you, the day is from midnight to midnight. So I'm expecting that 58 to be right around midnight tonight, and then the numbers are going to begin to fall tomorrow. By the time we get to Tuesday morning, an overnight low temperature here in Atlanta of 25, but that doesn't tell the whole story. Let's talk wind chills here, all right? So this is into tomorrow morning. This is 6 a.m. It's going to feel like at the same time at 6 a.m., 35 in Dalton, but 62 in Eatonton. This is the surge of Arctic air, all right? So Atlanta is going to go from 60s to 30s, like it saw the GSP officer sitting on the connector, pretty quick, and that's where we're going to stay for the afternoon. Watch, that just played to 3 p.m. That went from 10 to 3 p.m., and we stayed in the 30s. Blairsville staying in the 20s. Now, here's the problem. We get into Tuesday morning. Remember, I said an overnight low temperature at 25. Well, it's going to feel like 25 by the time we get to about 7, 8 o'clock. That wind chill keeps dropping into Tuesday morning. We are looking for wind chills in the low teens and even single digits up across the mountains. If you are up in the highest elevations, I mean on the ridge line from Springer Mountain up through Union, Lumpkin, White Towns, Raven counties, I think you could squeeze out a negative value in terms of the wind chill number. But again, you've got to be up there, like up above 4,000 feet. Other than that, it's still going to be cold, don't get me wrong, but we're not going to be looking at any negative values. So that's what we're going to be looking at. 60% chance of rain, a quick line. And I mean, it's going to be quick tomorrow morning. Not even storms, just scattered showers. The sun will come out for the afternoon. Again, that arrow's on there because we dropped from 58 to 25 through the course of Monday into Tuesday morning. We slowly rebound close to average, but Judea, we are going to put this Hawaiian Christmas behind us.
Oh my goodness. It kind of looked like a staircase, the way it went down all the way down to 42.
And then right back up. Wait, here you go.
Yeah. The other thing that I'm thinking about, Alex, I don't know if you've heard, but the Buddhist monks are making their way through Georgia. And when I'm seeing it's going to get even colder in the next couple of days, they're going to be here for quite some time. Yeah, they are going to be cold. That might end up being the story in a couple of days.
What do they do about that? I don't know.
Are they going to continue? Well, they had to continue. They're on a 120-day trek. Well, we'll check in about that a little later.
Look, I'm sure between here and wherever they came from, they ran into cold before. They probably got this figured out.
Maybe. Well, yeah. They probably had to think about this ahead of time.
Yeah.
December, they're making their way through the U.S., and at some point, we're probably going to hit cold weather.
Right.
All right. Well, anyway, thank you for bringing us our forecast. I'm glad to have you back on set with us. We will continue talking to you guys about the top news of the day. We may also be able to talk about sports a little later on, so stay tuned.
Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Yeah, the Pop-Tart Bowl was yesterday. They had a great game, and then we know that pretty soon, Sugar Bowls. Bulldogs will be playing.
New Orleans. Yep.
Yeah. All right. We'll have more on all of that when we come back. Hey guys, welcome back to Fox 5 News Live. I'm Judea Murray. I am streaming with you here in Atlanta, live from Atlanta, but I want to bring you out to the White House. Let's take a live look in Washington, D.C., where normally at the White House would be the president, but as you may know, he is actually spending his holiday in West Palm Beach out in Florida at Mar-a-Lago. You're taking a live look out there now. He is out in Mar-a-Lago, and we've heard that he's supposed to host President Vladimir Zelensky to finalize this peace deal that they've been trying to work out for quite some time now. This peace agreement would end a nearly 4-year-long war that began with Moscow's invasion of Ukraine. So the two will meet at Mar-a-Lago's, Trump's private club in Palm Beach, Florida, where the U.S. president is spending the holiday and has an agenda mostly filled with daily rounds of golf. Zelensky said the two were planning to discuss security issues, also economic agreements. He's also supposed to raise territorial issues as Moscow and Kyiv remain at odds over the fate of the region in eastern Ukraine. Now, just before this meeting, we know that a couple of days ago, Russia actually intensified its attacks on Ukraine's capital. That included sending some missiles, some drones to attack Kyiv and try to increase the pressure on President Zelensky. We also know that Zelensky has been pretty hard-nosed about all of this, making sure that everybody knows that, he will not falter. He won't make this peace deal if he doesn't feel it's in the best interest of the Ukrainian people. But in addition to President Trump's meeting with Zelensky, we also know the Canadians have also been trying to help out. They actually pledged $2.5 billion for Ukraine, and you're taking a live look, or not a live look, at some video of Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney meeting with Zelensky. Again, he pledged an additional $2.5 billion of economic aid to Ukraine. That offer was made just yesterday while Zelensky was meeting with the Canadian leader. And that money comes just ahead of this scheduled meeting that he'll have with Trump a little later on today. I believe it is going to be held at 3 p.m. again out at Mar-a-Lago in Florida. And once again, they're going to try to talk about and finalize this peace plan with Russia to end the Russia-Ukraine war. This also, again, comes following the Russian airstrikes against Ukraine's capital of Kyiv. So both leaders, in terms of the Canadian Prime Minister and Zelensky, have agreed that Russia needs to be willing to move in a peaceful direction before anything can happen. But Ukraine will still need full support of its allies in order to come up against Russia if needed. So we heard a little bit from that meeting between the two, between Mark Carney and Vladimir Zelensky. I want to let you listen in on it.
Under President Zelensky's leadership, we have the conditions, the possibility of a just and lasting peace. But that requires a willing Russia. And the barbarism that we saw overnight, the attack on Kyiv, shows just how important it is that we stand with Ukraine during this difficult time, and that we create the conditions for this just and lasting peace and a true reconstruction. And I want to underscore something that has happened in recent weeks, is that the development of that possibility under your leadership, and also the prospect of true prosperity for the Ukrainian people. I'll just finish with one point on Canada. We've provided military assistance, further military assistance. We're announcing today further economic assistance for Ukraine, $2.5 billion worth of economic assistance that helps unlock financing from the IMF, from the World Bank, from the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, to begin this process of rebuilding.
Canada, thank you for your support, first of all, and thanks for your the words that you mentioned about this tonight attack. It was really very difficult, hard attack. The Russia launched more than 500 drones and dozens of missiles. And I think thanks for air defense of our part, that's not enough. And this attack is again Russia's answer on our peace efforts, and it's really it shows that Putin doesn't want peace. And we want peace, and he the man of war, but he afraid to speak about publicly. But we see the steps, and what we need to stop this war in any way, and we need two things: pressure on Russia and sufficient strong support for Ukraine. We will speak about it. We will speak about air defense, and it's really last weeks we had good steps in diplomacy, but we can't live in illusion that it gives us possibility to have less air defense. With Russia, it doesn't work. So thank you very much, Mark, for this meeting. We will have bilateral, and as you said, we will join our European friends. And tomorrow I will have, I hope, very important and very constructive meeting with President Trump. Very good.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, you guys. So from that meeting with the Canadian Prime Minister to now meeting with President Donald Trump, Vladimir Zelensky has quite the agenda ahead of him. We do know that there are a couple of things that they will be talking about. I mean, from getting that billion-dollar aid to now trying to see if they can form that, finalize that peace deal with the U.S. president. I saw one of our comments on TikTok said, don't give up any land. And so I did want to make sure I talked to you about some of the other things that they will be discussing in this meeting. One of the big things, Zelensky said that he'd be willing to withdraw troops from Ukraine's eastern industrial heartland as part of a plan to end the war, but only if Russia also pulls back and the area becomes a demilitarized zone that will be monitored by international forces. We also know that there are some other questions surrounding territory where there's a nuclear power plant. They're also talking about some funding for Ukraine's post-war recovery. These are all unresolved conflicts that we're just trying to figure out what will be done in order to I guess put all this to bed. But it's been quite some time, quite some years, I would say, that have gone by since all of this has began. So it'll be a tough road ahead, but hopefully we can get it done. Now, before the break, we were talking to our meteorologist, Alex Forbes. I want to give you a live look now from New York City. You can somewhat see a little bit of the dusting on the ground, but it was very, very, very snowy out there before. The Northeast has kind of been going through it as it comes to this winter weather that they've been experiencing, and that can actually have a big impact on holiday travel, not just for those who live or are visiting in the Northeast, but even for those who may have been out there visiting for Christmas and now are trying to come back to our area. It's going to be hard to get home. So more than 1,000 flights were canceled or delayed across the Northeast and the Great Lakes region due to snow, as thousands of people, instead of flying, decided to take to the roads. And people did still try to make it out to the airport, but they saw those large, long lines. This is a busy travel period right now between Christmas and the New Year. New York City got about 4 inches worth of snow Friday night into early Saturday, and that was actually slightly under slightly under what our meteorologists forecasted and predicted. At least 1,500 flights were canceled on Friday night, according to FlightAware, but by morning, the roads and the skies started clearing. So we've been keeping our eyes on Newark, JFK, LaGuardia, all those airports that have been putting out snow warnings on their social media platforms earlier this week into the weekend. We also know that ahead of the big winter storm, New York Governor Kathy Hochul declared a state of emergency for more than half of the state, and acting New Jersey Governor Tahisha Wade also declared a state of emergency for New Jersey. They expected that storm to cause dangerous road conditions, impact holiday travel. They were asking travelers to avoid going home or going out to their next location during the storm, and hoping that people would just let the crews do the work. Here in Georgia, it's a little different. Our infrastructure is different, but like when they send those salt trucks out and the snow plows, you want to get out of the way. Drivers were asked to plan their travel accordingly, monitor conditions and road closures, and of course, follow all safety protocols. But again, how is that going to affect us here in Georgia? I want to take a live look now at Hartsfield-Jackson, the world's busiest airport, where we've been tracking delays and cancellations for the last couple of days. I'm pulling up FlightAware on my computer now. You heard from our meteorologist Alex Forbes that there was a chance that there was a ground stop earlier this morning. He heard that from the Federal Aviation Administration, but couldn't seem to find it on their website. And I'm actually looking at their website now and I don't see it either. But let's pull up FlightAware to see where we're at in terms of cancellations and delays. It is just before 9:30 a.m. today on this beautiful Sunday morning. And there are 140 total delays. There are 89 current cancellations at the airport. So I was telling you all yesterday, if you still got some family and some friends sleeping on the couch, they may as well get a little more comfortable because there is a chance that they will not be leaving anytime soon. But in addition to that, airport leaders are suggesting that if you do have a flight, you get out to the airport early. You can see one of those planes taking off. I love being able to watch this camera. But they say if you do have a flight, you might want to get to the airport early. That way, if anything happens, maybe even if your flight is early, you will be there in time. And we do know TSA is no joke to get through. You never know what can happen. So the earlier, the better. Just also make sure you've got your airline app download it onto your phone, because as soon as there is a delay, as soon as there is a cancellation, they will be your first point of contact. And I've also been letting people know the Department of Transportation has this table up on their website if you would like to check it out. It tells you what you could be awarded if there is a delay, a significant one, or if there is a cancellation. You don't just have to eat that. So you can possibly have a hotel voucher. You can also potentially get a food voucher. There are a lot of things that the airlines actually owe you that you don't even know about. And so I just want to make sure that you know you can check that on the website for the Department of Transportation. It's available to literally anyone. And from there, you can talk to the airline. Hopefully you get a decent person from customer service, because we know how that goes too. But I figured I would try to help you guys out any way that I can. Make sure that this holiday travel isn't a headache. We are headed into the new year. We want to get there on a positive note. All right, so we have been checking out your neighbors, how they have been decorating for the holidays. We also were talking about how they were getting their pets and stuff ready for the holidays. That was all for Christmas, but again, now we are going into the new year. So in a little bit, I want to talk to you about some things that you should know before 2026 hits. We'll be going over dry January. We'll be going over how to get rid of those holiday presents that maybe just didn't fit your aesthetic this year. We'll have all of that and more later on in the stream. We'll be right back. guys, welcome back to Fox 5 News Live. I'm Judea Murray. We've got some pretty cool news coming up for you. We heard that there were 2 restaurants right here in Atlanta. We're doing something pretty big. They're making donations for every meal that you buy. And to talk to us all about that, we've got our photojournalist Eli Jordan on the ground. Let's check in now with Eli and see how things are going out there. Eli, what have you learned so far?
Hey, good morning, Judea. Yeah, I'm here in Virginia Highland. I'm on North Highland at 832 Osteria, 832 to be exact. And I don't know if you've ever eaten here or not. It's a really cool, quaint place in Virginia Highland. And just down the street is its sister or brother or partner restaurant, Doc Che's. It's really good too. I've eaten there a whole bunch. And they're doing something really good. You know, during the holidays, we show these food drives and whatnot. And then we kind of forget about them after the holidays. But they have done a month-long partnership with the Atlanta Food Bank. For every 1 meal you buy here, they'll give away 3 meals to the Atlanta Food Bank. And they've been doing that for 6 years. And so it's going on until the end of this month, and they're about 85% of their goal has been met. But we only have 3 days left because they're not open on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. So we got 3 days left. And here to talk to me about it is owner of both restaurants, Rick Che. Hey, Rick, thanks for joining us. How you doing today?
Doing great.
And so tell me, why do you guys feel the importance to partner up with the Atlanta Food Bank?
Well, one of the guiding principles of our business is good karma. So what goes around comes around. So we feel it's really important for us to share our fortune with people who are less fortunate than us.
And you guys have been around, I know this place has been here for over 2 decades. You've seen the, Atlanta grow, especially in this area. Just tell me, have you seen a greater need for, people, needing food and families needing food, especially around the holiday, but even though it goes on all year long?
Well, listen, everyone you talk to they talk about how expensive everything is in the grocery store. So I think everyone is struggling with affording to eat these days. And I think food insecurity just continues to be a bigger problem each and every year. So, we just want to be a small part of the solution.
Gotcha. And you guys have been a small part of that solution for the past 6 years. Nearly 500,000 meals donated, correct?
Yes. And I think that this is a campaign that our staff really can wrap their hands around, and it gives them a lot of pride in what they do and the fact that they're giving back to the community.
And so you guys open up for lunch here in about an hour, I guess. So for brunch.
Correct.
So Osteria is open for brunch from 10:30 till 2, and then all those sales will count. Each meal is what, 3?
Yes, we'll donate 3 meals for every meal purchased at the restaurant.
And then I guess Doc Che's opens up at around 11:30?
11:30, so lunch and dinner every evening.
And then you guys are also open for lunch and dinner too, at 2 to 5?
We are. So here we're open for dinner every night. We're open for brunch on the weekends, and we're actually open. We have a late night cocktail concept that's open from Thursday through Sunday nights.
Gotcha. And so you guys only have 3 days left to meet your goal.
That's right.
And you're at 85% now. The weather's going to be kind of rough the next couple of days with high winds and all that, but to-go orders count as well, right?
They do. So if you don't want to if you don't want to come out in the cold weather, you can actually just pick up your phone and place an order, and your purchase will go towards our goal of reaching 50,000 meals.
So I guess, if you're spending a little bit of money, you can have a little bit of a clearer conscience of indulging a little bit when you're knowing that you're contributing to, helping out the Atlanta Food Bank.
Absolutely.
And like I said, 3 more days to go, 85%. You need 15 more percent. Do you think you can make it?
We'll hit it. We hit it every year.
Awesome. Well, that's cool. This is the 6th year, correct?
It is.
6 year. I guess this is an ongoing thing with you guys now.
It is. It's every December.
And when I order a meal, I don't have to say, hey, I want this to be part of the food bank. It's just an automatic contribution. Correct?
It is. Yes.
Great. Well, this is cool. Very, very cool, Rich. And Judea, you guys can come out here and have some brunch. And here's your flyer about the effort going on here at Osteria, 832, and then Doc Che's down the road. And I said 832, correct, right? Yeah,
that's right.
And every meal that you get, they will contribute 3 meals to the Atlanta Food Bank, which is really, really cool because the need never ends. They always need food. Atlanta Food Bank, it's a year-round effort, and for the homegrown restaurant group to be doing this is really cool. So come on out. You can come out to brunch at Osteria on Highland, or you can go have lunch, dinner at Doc Chay's. You can also have dinner here. They don't do lunch here. They're just doing brunch on the weekends. But come on out here, and if you have your family still in town, come out, grab a mimosa, grab a sangria, have whatever. Yeah, and just come on down here, and when you're indulging and having a good time and getting loose with too many sangrias or mimosas, you know that each one of you are contributing 3 meals to the Atlanta Food Bank. So it's a guilt-free good time. Come out, do some day drinking for brunch, and then walk on up to Doc Chay's and, get another belly full of food. Judea?
I love it, Eli. Day drink for donations. Day drink for donations. All right, thank you so much.
Yeah, day drink for donations. Yeah, that's a good slogan.
I did not realize that both restaurants were owned by the same person, so this is like extra cool, a cool initiative that they've got going on. Again, Eli said that they've got about 3 days left, but are already 85% of the way there, and so I have no doubt that they're going to reach their goal within no time. All right, I did want to react to something I saw on our TikTok chat. Someone asked why we weren't talking about the fraud in Minnesota, and so I went ahead and looked deeply into this for you guys. Typically, I only focus on the Georgia and Atlanta headlines, and then every now and again, depending on how trending it is, I'll focus on a national story. But so this is something that is happening in Minnesota. Governor Walz, who also ran for vice president of the United States, they say that they are pressing him over a Minnesota daycare in which they say that he donated millions of dollars to, but come to find out either that daycare doesn't actually exist or there's just something kind of fishy about it. So Fox News dived a little deeper into it. Here's what we know so far. Governor Tim Walz, there was a YouTuber who tried to confront employees of an alleged daycare center because they said that there was some misspelled signage outside of the center and also no signs of anybody actually going there. So no signs of anybody working there, and then no signs of any children actually attending that daycare. But they do know that the Walz administration notably included at least $1 billion to alleged social services that would have been tied to the Somali community in the Twin Cities. And a portion reportedly ended up in the hands of a terror group called Al-Shabaab. This is all alleged. This is all reporting done by Fox News. And so they're now looking to say, well, what's really happening here? Where the taxpayers' money going toward? Is this daycare center just a front for something else? What's happening? And so there are a lot of eyes on that. I'll continue to monitor it for you so that I can get you some more information, but I did want to get you the latest of what Fox News has. Hopefully we'll get some more details later on in the stream. So thank you for commenting on what you want to hear. That's what's cool about this kind of live streaming situation, where if you guys want to know something, you got a question for one of our reporters, ask it in the chat. And that's going to be the way that I'll be able to let them know what you want to hear in real time, and then we'll talk about it together. All right, with that being said, our news continues. I talked to you about these Buddhist monks that have been making their way across America. They are in our neck of the woods now, and I want to track exactly where they are at this moment in time. We'll be doing that and a whole lot more in just a second.
across communities. They're inviting reflections on peace at each and every stop. And you're looking at video. Our cameras were there yesterday as they arrived at Western Heights Baptist Church for lunch yesterday in Hogansville. A massive crowd. You see them behind them. Just one day after crossing the state line from Alabama. They've been on the move, Judea. Yeah. I mean, we're talking 2,300 miles in all once they're done. 10 states, right? And day 64 of 120. Now, you see them there. They're simply clad. They're not carrying much. They are very modest in both their approach to this and also what they're carrying. Walking sticks. So many people coming out. They started again about an hour ago, and they're already updating their Facebook page, their social media. Let's check this out. Yeah.
Okay, so they just posted this video, what, like 20 minutes ago? And it looks like they said they were going to be doing this, meeting people where they are on the grounds and actually talking to people. In this post, they said that they're giving a blessing cord to a young woman. You see her there. She is also in a chair. The rest of their post says, may all beings be well, happy, and at peace.
And so this is a traditional gesture. This is what we dug into the details here. A traditional gesture, this bracelet, tying strings around wrists. This is for good luck. This is for health. This is for protection. And these strings tied around wrists are meant to be worn until they fall off.
Really?
Yes, that is the traditional gesture, and obviously significant here, a moment of blessing for this young woman in a wheelchair here. They started their journey again this morning about an hour and a half ago, taking off. And yesterday, I think we do have some sound from some of the people who wanted to show up, felt it was important to receive their message and also to start a conversation with their loved ones too. Take a listen.
How far do you think you guys walked to get here in LaGrange?
I believe it was about 16 miles. My step counter says 28,000 steps.
Oh, 28,000. So how was it? Was there like people just lined up on the side of the road? Absolutely. What was the experience like?
As the day went on, more and more people were littered along the road, and everyone brought something, whether that be smiles or food or water. And it also seems like what they're really needing is what they'd really like for donations are Band-Aids and other types of little medical supplies to wrap things like their feet. Some of them walk with thick socks, so things like that are really helpful.
How did you even find out about this? What inspired you to meet up with them and start walking?
Yeah, so I actually found out about it on Facebook, and I've been following them maybe for about a few weeks now, and I just knew I needed to meet up with them and see their message of peace.
Now, are you a Buddhist or a particularly religious person, or are you just inspired by it?
Just inspired by it. I'm not really religious, but I really appreciate their message, and I think all people from all denominations can take something really good from it, and I think it's something that we need now, and I think they're inspiring hope.
That's so beautiful. One of the things she said that she's not even religious herself, but just because they're inspiring that peace and that hope, that's why she went out there to see them. That's so cool to me.
And she said that she's been following their journey on social media for weeks. They've been going since October, starting in Fort Worth, Texas. They're going to keep on going. Their goal is to get to Washington, D.C. this coming February. And maybe you've seen in this video, of course, if you know me at all, I love animals, dogs. Maybe you've seen walking alongside them that one dog. Let's talk about Aloka, the peace dog. Oh, there he is, adopted by one of these 19 monks. His name means light, reflecting his role as a beacon of love. And you can't see it really close here, but apparently has a heart-shaped mark on his forehead. You're kidding me. I mean, you know me, I'm reading it like poetry and motion. Yes, a reminder, love can walk walk on 4 legs. Along the way, I was looking and diving into their social media posts. Along the way, he was even treated to ice cream at a Dairy Queen in Texas, walking alongside this group. Just such a good boy. So maybe you're watching this, you're streaming and saying, oh my gosh, I want to get involved in this. Like, where are they going next? You can follow along. They have like a live map on their social media account, but just so you know, they're going to be spending tonight at a location in Sharpsburg, which is roughly a mile outside of Peachtree City. They're expected to begin walking again tomorrow morning. So if you're interested, maybe you're not going back to work tomorrow, maybe you're off for the week. If you're interested in observing their walk, you can expect to see them along Highway 54 between 7:30 and 8:30 tomorrow. So something to put on your little calendar, a good way to start the day. And I'm wondering, you know, who's monitoring the weather for them? Are they listening to Alex Forbes?
Do they have the Fox Local app?
Yes. So fun.
Yeah, Alex and I were talking about that. The weather too, it's supposed to take a turn, and I was, you know, thinking about them, concerned about their walk there. I hope that because they are carrying very little, they will be warm and maybe just take shelter when necessary. But we know 120 days is their goal, so I don't know.
Wishing them well, and we'll continue to update their journey as they go. Walk for Peace. 19 monks doing this right now, happening now. So we'll keep you up to date.
So much. Thank you for bringing this to, again, I always say when people sage the stream, this is what you're doing right now. You brought so much peace. I'm like with you up here when you brought this story. So I appreciate it, Caitlin. You guys, the top news of the day does continue. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, welcome back to Fox 5 News Live. We're keeping up with some pretty interesting news of the day. We heard that $100,000 worth of Pokemon cards were stolen from a Georgia shop. If you know who did it, tell the police. What we know so far is that a thief stole $100,000 worth of rare Pokemon cards and also some sealed merchandise. And this was from Tag Collects on Bankhead Highway. So the owners believe that somebody targeted them, targeted specifically high-value items. They probably came into the store beforehand, knew what they were going to hit, and then came back and apparently robbed them of all of that money. So the break-in happened at around 5 a.m. on Wednesday at the Tag Collects on Bankhead Highway. The co-owner, Tommy Brown, said that he was alerted to the emergency and the burglary after someone used a tow hitch ball to shatter the front door. I can't make this stuff up, you guys. So surveillance video shows someone entering the store, walking past the cash register, and going directly to specific display cases. That's why they feel like that person targeted and knew exactly what they were going to get before they came in, because why else would they not go to the register? Why else would they not get money but went and got those cards? And also, I was telling you on the live stream yesterday that Pokemon cards and these gaming cards go for so much. Everybody thinks about investing when it comes to stocks or buying cars and then letting them, you know, those unique vintage cars and then selling them at a show. But these cards, these Pokemon cards, apparently is where it's at. So Brown, that co-owner, told police that he believes the person visited the store. That's how they knew where to find what they wanted. He also told a few people that that person or a couple of people have been in the shop for periods of time without buying anything at all or even speaking to staff. And so he's a little skeptical and, you know, weary about everything that happened that can be imagined. The store has set up a GoFundMe page to try to help themselves with the repairs and also continue to pay their staff while they try to figure out what they're going to do next. But if you know who may have done this, I don't know how you can recognize the person from the video, but maybe what they're wearing, please tell police as soon as possible. The police department that you would be reporting this to is Carrollton Police. They're hoping anybody with any information will contact them as soon as possible. And the new year is right around the corner. Airbnb is cracking down on what exactly you can book. So if they have any indication that you might be trying to throw a party or that you are inviting more people over than people who can stay in that property, there will be some repercussions. Airbnb has some new technology. I think they've been working on this for a while, because I remember talking to our investigative team at the time that this anti-party technology was in the works. But what it should do is crack down on potentially disruptive New Year's Eve parties. So the company says that once it detects an at-risk booking, you'll be blocked from the website or the app, and that guest, the guest, will be sent to other listings on the platform instead of being able to go with the one that you were looking at. Airbnb says that technology has prevented more than 20,000 people in the U.S. from booking just last New Year's Eve. And it seems to me that they're not even worried about losing out on the money. They want to make sure that these homeowners who are letting their homes or their properties be available to you are not going to regret that later on. And also, Airbnb party reports have decreased by 50% in the last 5 years since the technology was first implemented. So something must be working. Long story short, Airbnb says no parties for you. All right, and a lot of people are going to participate in Dry January. I do want to let you know it has some benefits. Obviously, the biggest one is your health. Abstaining from alcohol, which is what you would do on Dry January for the entire month, might be difficult for some people. But according to a new study, cutting back even partially can really pay off in the long run. There's been some research done from Brown University that found that people who didn't complete the full month but still drink just a little less were more likely to continue to drink less up to 6 months later. It also reported a stronger mental well-being, so people were saying that they felt better about themselves. And also, people who finished the dry month, didn't drink at all, saw that their liver function improved greatly, blood sugar rates dropped, and quality of sleep increased just within a couple of weeks. Insane. All right, you guys, we'll continue with these types of headlines. It's kind of like the good news, but also just letting you know what to expect before 2025 is over. We'll also be talking to you about the big Falcons game a little later on today. But until then, we'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back to Fox 5 News Live. I'm Judea Murray. Brought our meteorologist Alex Flores back up to the digital desk.
Yep.
What's it looking like out there in the skies? It's all a little bit of fog.
Gray. Yeah.
It's going to stay that way?
It's going to be an overcast day, unfortunately, across metro Atlanta and North Georgia. So it's important to note that because that is going to also throttle our temperatures today. We broke a record yesterday. We're not going to do that today with the cloud cover across metro Atlanta and North Georgia. Saw a lot of sun yesterday. Today, not so much. It's 61 in Atlanta right now, 59 over in Canton, 58 in Hall County, 62 in Athens, and 63 in Eatonton. Now, I want to show you this record yesterday, 78. It beat the old record of 75 by 3 degrees. It also is another, so this is the second December record-breaking day, the first being Christmas Eve. It broke the 2015 record as well of 75. So almost carbon copy days yesterday to Christmas Eve. Still looking at some low visibility in a handful of spots, but notice everything's up above a mile now, which means it's more low cloud cover rather than fog across metro Atlanta and North Georgia this morning. So conditions will continue to improve. Getting into the mid to upper 60s later on this afternoon. I've got 70 as a high temperature later on today. We'll see if we get there. Is 71 impossible? No, especially if we see a little more sunshine, but I don't know. That's going to be a little hard to come by through the day today. All right, 70 in Atlanta, 72 in Covington, 73 in Eatonton today, 65 in Gainesville, and 69 over in Athens this afternoon. I'm looking for 70 in Carrollton, but if you're used to it, I mean, it's been a week now, so I wouldn't blame you, but hold on to your hat, quite literally, because it's going to be windy. All right, so a cold front's going to push in, and tomorrow is going to be one of those weird days where, you know, Judea and I are going to get to work at 6 a.m. and it's not going to feel too bad outside. Then we're going to walk outside at 9 o'clock. And we're going to go, are we in the same city? Did we teleport? What in the world is going on? Because that 58 you see there, that's going to be right at midnight. And then the temperatures are going to plummet by the time we get to Tuesday. So we're really going to fall from 58 down to 25 by the time we get to Tuesday morning. But here's the kicker. And this is always the kicker around here, the wind chill. All right. So this is 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. It's going to feel, this is all at the same time, right? 35 in Dalton, 51 in Atlanta, 62 in Eatonton. So that's your surge of cooler air pushing down to the south. By the time we get to 10 o'clock, we're all going to be in the 30s and 20s, and that's where we're going to stay for the afternoon. So through the course of the daylight hours tomorrow, it is going to feel like the mid-30s outside. That's going to set the stage for a bitterly cold night. Temperatures, wind chills, this is in the 20s by 7 p.m. And then by the time we're waking up Tuesday morning, I'm looking for widespread teens and single digits across metro Atlanta and North Georgia, with those single digits coming as far south as we'll say Cherokee, Forsyth, northern Cobb, northern Fulton counties, before all is said and done. Even Thomaston, LaGrange, Griffin, down to 13, 12, 14 degrees in terms of a wind chill. So a chill in the air to ring in 2025. Here's your Fox 5 Storm Team 7-day forecast. Got that arrow there Monday into Tuesday because the temperature's just going to keep on falling. 42 your high for Tuesday. So, you know, I had somebody on Facebook comment earlier like, oh my gosh, my pipes froze in 2022. Don't want to repeat that. I'm going to go drip all my faucets. Now, it's never a bad idea to drip your faucets when temperatures are this cold, but a distinct difference from what we're about to experience to 2022 is that we are not going to stay below freezing, right? We're going to get down to 25 Tuesday morning, and it's going to feel pretty cold, but we are going to get back up above freezing and spend several hours above freezing Tuesday afternoon, whereas in 2022, we did not do that.
Alex, this is just, okay, so let's take a step back. A couple of days ago, I had my AC on.
I had it on yesterday.
Yeah. And so pretty soon, well, now I've got it off because I don't want to pay a high bill this month. But I'm going to have to turn the heat on.
Yeah.
Is what you're telling me.
Well, I mean, you don't have to, but you would freeze.
Yeah. It's a necessary evil.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, but it's not unexpected, right? It's last week of December. What I'd argue the insane thing is we've been in the 70s.
Yeah, we probably should have been having this this whole time.
Yes, I would have much rather have had a much colder Christmas than we had. You know, the 70 degrees on Christmas, no. I would at its warmest prefer like an upper 60. But we didn't do that.
No.
And we didn't break a record either for Christmas Day, which makes it almost not worth it, right? Like, if we're going to be warm, let's make it worth it.
That was the big thing that we were hoping for. Well, not hoping for, but at least, you know, keeping our eyes on, fingers crossed for. So you're telling me it didn't happen?
It did not happen, but we did break records on Christmas Eve and yesterday, the 27th. So
because we had that 78, almost 80 degrees,
yes.
right? Oh,
yeah.
Goodness gracious. Well, even though we are not going to get as cold in terms of snow, snow won't stick in our area, even if there was some precipitation, right?
Well, it's not going to snow.
Yeah.
If it did snow, it would stick because we'd be down below freezing.
Our low temperatures.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but no snow here. All of that's up there.
This is just me trying to get ready for
We don't throw the S word around over here.
Oh, those are fighting words.
Yes.
Huh? Well, that is what has been happening in the Northeast,
right.
Alex. I know you've been looking at that too. Let's take a live look now at New York City. You can see they've got their beautiful tree up. This is 6th Avenue.
It's Fox Square.
Yes, right outside the building. And yes, snow hit the Northeast pretty heavily. We have all been keeping our eyes on what's happening out there. We know that that winter weather also affected travel pretty heavily. It actually snarled some of that travel, whether you were trying to go through the airport or whether you were trying to drive. So let's break that down. More than 1,000 flights, you guys, were canceled or delayed through some of the airports out there, Newark, LaGuardia, JFK. And this was as thousands of people took to the roads or maybe tried to take flights during that busy travel period, which for us would be between Christmas and the New Year. So some people are still trying to make it home. I told you about how my brother's flight back to JFK was canceled. So a lot of people are experiencing that too. And that's because New York City saw about 4 inches worth of snow, and also there were some little flurries in the area, which is why you can still see a little bit of snow sticking to the ground. It's not as bad as it was yesterday. I kind of wish I would have shown you guys a live look yesterday. But what we do know is that Newark, JFK, LaGuardia airports, they have been posting some winter snow warnings to their social media platforms on X, and that was all happening Friday. They were cautioning people against the weather conditions that were coming up and saying that they could cause some significant flight delays. Again, that was what my brother ended up running into. Also, New York Governor Kathy Hochul and New Jersey Governor Tahisha Way both declared states of emergencies for their areas. They said that the snowstorm could cause dangerous road conditions and impact holiday travel, and we're still seeing that blow over into today. Now, for those of you who might be trying to get back from the south to the north, or maybe you were in the north for the holiday and now you're trying to get back to the south, this could be on your radar. So I want to take a live look now out at Hartsfield-Jackson, Atlanta Airport. This is the busiest airport in the world. We're tracking delays and cancellations as they come in. As of right now, FlightAware's website is saying that there are 170 total delays. Is 10:07 right now, so we just jumped 30 delays at the airport. We're also seeing 90 cancellations, and just for the fun of it, I'm going to check the Federal Aviation Administration's website to see if the National Airspace System has been updated just yet. Okay, we do not have anything like a ground delay or ground stop at Atlanta's airport, which is great, but you do see the skies are very, very foggy out there. But it's not stopping planes from taking off or landing, which is great news. So if you do have some family sticking around, yes, there are some delays. Yes, there are some cancellations. Just make sure that you have the airlines app on your phone, and then you will know exactly when they tell you that there is a delay or cancellation or any other type of thing happening to your flight. Want to make sure that you are keeping up to date on everything that you need to know in order to make it home safely. Now, let's look at some of our top news from around the area. Right here in Atlanta, we heard that there was a police officer among 2 people who were found dead in a home, and the details of that situation are kind of eerie, so I want to walk through it with you. Atlanta police were called to a home on Coolidge Avenue at around 4 p.m. yesterday. That's because a couple of friends of the people who lived there requested a welfare check. And when the officers got there, they say they made it inside and found an officer who is a detective for the Atlanta Police Department and a woman dead inside the home. So now Atlanta police are calling this an isolated incident. They say that there are no suspects to look for and there is no current threat to the community. And so what exactly happened there? police aren't coming right out to say it, but this is the information that they have let us know about. They are making sure that they tell everybody who lives in the area that there are no current threats to you, so you are safe. You are okay to go outside and enjoy the rest of your day. But this is something that really shook up the community, because this is not that far away at all from, what is it, Piedmont Park? So a neighbor talked to us, but first I want to play the press conference for you. We heard from the Atlanta Police Department what information exactly they have at this point in time. Let's listen in.
Good evening, everyone. At approximately 4 p.m. today, we received a call for a welfare check here on Coolidge Avenue. Once we arrived, we located inside of the residence 2 individuals deceased, 1 male, 1 female, who suffered from gunshot wounds. This does appear to be an isolated incident at this time. We have confirmed that one of the decedents inside of the location is an APD officer. Right now, we're not releasing that. We do have a team of our investigative units that are currently handling the investigation. So right now, this is a death investigation. It is ongoing, but that is the preliminary information that we have for you at this time.
Did you know it was an officer knowing the address, or did you have to go all the way inside to find out the information?
We did not know at the time we received the call that it was an officer. It was some speculation that it may have been, but we did not confirm at that time.
Are you able to share what caused the need for the welfare check? Did they possibly not show up to work, or have anyone heard from them in maybe a few days or something?
It was some friends who were trying to check on their friends.
Is there anybody else in the home at the time?
Nobody else was in the home at the time.
How are your people doing?
To be expected. They are grieving. We do have employee assistance available for them at this time.
And so you were hearing there from the Atlanta Police Deputy Chief on the information that they have, but I also want to play a more personable interview that we had. We heard from a neighbor, George Jackson, who said that he knew that officer. Let's listen into what that person had to tell us.
Very friendly, peaceful person who always had a smile on his face, always happy to help if you needed an extra hand. We'd pick up each other's mail when we were at it, just normal neighbor stuff. When I found out, my kids were one of like 6 kids playing on the street, and no one ever felt in danger. It was pretty clear to us pretty quickly that it wasn't a situation where there was a perpetrator on the loose.
In the meantime, Atlanta police are offering some support services to the other officers as they mourn one of their very own. And we do know that the family is also still trying to come to terms with this information that we've been able to share with you all. But that is all that they are releasing at this point in time. All right, over in Atlantic Station, you may have gotten the notification. Hundreds of teens, and I'm not talking about 100, 200. You guys, they are predicting it may have been about 400 to 500 teens were causing absolute mayhem in the Atlantic Station area. So the information that we have on at this point in time is that at around 7 p.m., officers got a possible shots fired call. But when they got to the scene, they realized pretty quickly it wasn't guns. They believed that those 400 to 500 teens were shooting fireworks across the shopping area, also shooting fireworks into crowds of people. And so the police had to break up the crowds that included not only those teens that they believed to have been participating, but also other people who were just in the area, maybe enjoying the holiday festivities that they have out there, because I believe there's the ice skating rink. Of course, they've got the movie theater out there. Atlantic Station is a pretty poppin' place. And so you can see all the traffic from videos that we received. You see that large police presence in the area. In case you were driving by or you saw this on social media, this is what police are telling us. Now, they haven't arrested any of those kids, but they do say that hundreds of them were expected to be involved. We don't know that any charges will be filed at this point in time. Also want to talk to you about a Tennessee fugitive who made their way into Georgia State's lines and then crashed after a high-speed chase. So here's what we're learning about this situation. That suspect who led the high-speed chase was a wanted man arrested for attempted murder. This all happening in Tennessee. And then they say that that person led a high-speed chase with law enforcement officers, and in that truck that they were driving got up to about 90 miles per hour hour at some points in time. Now, while they were traveling east on Red Bud Road in Gordon County, that's in our neck of the woods here in Georgia, deputies performed a pit maneuver just to try to get them to stop on the side of the road, but that person ended up going off the road and down an embankment, and that is the wild photo that you're seeing there on your screen. If you guys are listening in on the radio, I'll just describe it to you. There is a white truck off the road. It kind of looks like the side of that truck is just completely dented, so it's a pretty bad wreck there. So after they performed that pit maneuver and they went off the side of the road, that suspect was taken into custody without any further resistance. Authorities do say that they don't believe that anybody else is at large or on the run at this point in time, so there is no ongoing danger to the public. Now, the Calhoun Police Department will be leading this criminal investigation in coordination with the Tennessee officers where this person came from. In the meantime, officials did not tell us who this suspect is or why they have been accused of attempting murder, but that is something that we heard from the Tennessee officers that were looking for him. All right, you guys, I'm looking at the time now. It's about that time where we continue in our news of the day. We'll be headed out because we know that the Falcons have a game later on today. It's going to be a big game facing the LA Rams, and the cheerleaders have gotten all ready to help you work out just like one of them. And this is a free workout class, so we'll check in a little later on with our reporter, Kim Luffler, who is taking a look at what it takes to be an Atlanta Falcons cheerleader. Well, more on that in just a second. Hey guys, welcome back to Fox 5 News Live. I see you in our TikTok chat. I'm so happy that you guys are interacting with us and our stories. If you have any questions, remember that you can ask them in real time. If you have a question for a reporter, for any one of our stories, if you want me to talk about something else, let me know. This is a real interactive conversation. So this is how things go when you are streaming Fox 5 News Live or Fox Local. All right, now, in Atlanta, there are two restaurants who are doing something pretty amazing. For every meal that you buy, I hear that they'll be making some donations, and I don't want to give it all away, so I think our Eli Jordan, our photojournalist, can pick it up from there. Right, Eli?
Hey, Judea, yeah, I mean, I've eaten at these restaurants many times over the years. They're really close to the station. Osteria and Doc Che's on Highland Avenue here in Virginia, Highland, and they have been around for, at least Osteria has been around for over 2 decades. And for the past 6 years, the Homegrown Restaurant Group is they're part of, and so they have been donating 3 meals with every single meal that they have sold. They've been donating 3 meals to the Atlanta Food Bank. And here to talk with me more about it is Elizabeth Glasgow. She is the manager here at Osteria. Hey, Elizabeth, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing good, good. And so tell me, how close are you guys to meeting your goal this year for the food sales?
We're about 85% of our 50,000 meals that are our goal.
And so do you think you're going to make it? We got 3 days left.
We've got 3 days left. You got to come in for brunch from 11:30 to 2:30 here at Osteria 832. We're open today and today for brunch, and then we're open from dinner 5 to 9 today, tomorrow, and Tuesday, and then we're closed New Year's Eve. So we're at crunch time.
Gotcha. And I guess people got their family in town still for the holidays. Come on down here and
come on down. And then if the cold front hits, when the cold front hits, and if it's too cold for you, you can get takeout, and every meal there goes towards our goal.
And then I guess you guys are also open for dinner here too, right?
Yes, we're open for dinner from 5 to 9 for the next 3 days.
So tell me, why do you guys chose to do this with partner up with the Atlanta
We
Food Bank?
believe that good karma is the heart of our business. What comes around goes around, and we want to give back to the community in a way that helps those, especially during the holiday time, who have food insecurities. And with the economy, everybody, is hitting their wallet. So we're trying to help as much as we can.
Yeah, and this year we've seen a lot of people hurting with government shutdowns and things like that. I mean, it seems like it's been a little extra intense these past few months, but it's an ongoing thing. And I mean, this is a good awareness though too. I mean, you guys are doing this. You got the literature on the wall there explaining, hey, come out and purchase 1 meal, get 3 meals donated. And also, too, I mean, you can be like guilt-free when you're down here day drinking and having some food, right?
We have the bottomless mimosas here during brunch today. So come and see us when you can for brunch today or dinner tonight, or Doc Che's 11 to 9.
As Judea said, day drinking for donations, I think is what it was. And so, but tell me, what's your favorite libation? Would you say that you got?
Oh, definitely the bottomless mimosas.
Are they better than the sangrias?
No, the sangria is pretty good too.
What about the Bloody Marys?
Oh, the Bloody Marys are fantastic.
They're all good.
Yes.
Yeah. So, as tempting as it is, Judea, I'm going to have to resist some day drinking today because even though mimosas sound good and it's a dreary Sunday morning, I got to resist because I got more live shots coming up, and we're going to be going to Doc Che's next. Been out here at Osteria, 832. I always forget those numbers, but and that's at 832 North Highland here in Virginia Highland. But I'll be going to Doc Che's next because they are still part of this, and we'll be seeing what they're up to, and as they try to meet their goal of 100% 50,000 meals donated before the end of the year, and they're at 85% at Osteria 832 and at Doc Che's. So if you come down here at one of those 2 places, get a meal, well, they're going to donate 3 meals to help out the Atlanta Food Bank, and anybody that sees the Atlanta Food Bank, they'll get some meals, and they'll help out. And while you're eating, you can feel good about not only a belly full of food, but you'll know that you're helping out the Atlanta Food Bank with some donations. Judea?
Eli, I love it. I honestly have no doubt that they're going to reach their goal. One question for you, though, if you can ask her while she's still with you, is do they also deliver? Like, do they have Uber Eats, Grubhub, DoorDash? Yes?
Okay, so yeah, do you guys have delivery services, Elizabeth?
We do have delivery services. You can order online through Uber or DoorDash. It's the meals, though, that if you call in and take it out or go through Chow Now, which is on our website, osteria832.com, those will go towards the goal.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, is there any, I guess pickup is good though too, right?
Pickup's fantastic, yes.
Pickup is better. Yeah, so.
You can call your order in anytime and pick it up from us.
Awesome, and that goes to the donation.
It goes to the donation, yes.
Part of the job, so yeah, there you go. So, you can order out. If it's too cold tomorrow to get out and about, order some food, come pick it up, boom, you're feeding got 3 more meals in the can. And if it's too cold Wednesday for Tuesday, whatever, they're not open Wednesday. If it's too cold Tuesday, order some food, you're gonna help you'll help provide 3 more meals. But that's what's really cool. They're 85% there, and it's crunch time, and they're hoping to get to their 100% of 50,000 meals donated before the end of the year.
And I mean, perfect timing for us because we're going to be live streaming right here until 12:30. So that's right around the time where you guys are probably going to want lunch anyways. So think about.
And they're about to open up for brunch here. So, everybody that comes in here, every brunch meal that is served, 3 more meals be donated to the Atlanta Food Bank. So come on down here, have some brunch, get your drink on, then walk up to Doc Che's and then get another belly full of food and get some more meals donated.
Donations. Thank you, Eli. All right, we'll check
day drinking for donations.
With him later on. He's going to go back and forth between those 2 restaurants because, like I said, this is so cool. They're also helping out the big food bank here in Atlanta. All right, we're going to keep the ball rolling. You know that later on today, the Atlanta Falcons are expected to take on the LA Rams. But before that happens, I want to check in with our Kim Loeffler. She went out to see the Falcons cheerleaders because they are hosting a free workout. Is that right, Kim?
So we are at the Signia Hotel just across the way from the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. The game is actually happening tomorrow, but today they are doing this free workout class. I'm going to turn this over. You guys can see what's going on. And you probably can't hear me as well. That is Tiffany and Crystal all the way up there. There's a couple dozen people that are in here right now finishing up the walk and just getting started. But I'm going to take you over and introduce you to Chateau Hendricks. She's the director of the Atlanta Falcons cheerleaders. So just tell me a little bit more about what's going on today.
Yeah, so today we're doing our sideline sculpt. This is actually an introductory class, our first time ever partnering with Signia by Hilton. So excited for this. And just to have the backdrop of the stadium there is really giving game day, pre-game day vibes. So they're actually learning Pilates, like Pilates techniques, and also Atlanta Falcons cheer choreography. So that's why we're, coined the name Sideline Sculpt.
Yeah, and why is this important for you guys to do? I know this is free for everyone to come out and do.
Yeah, so it's really important. Part of what the ladies do as cheerleaders is a lot of work in the community. Many of them, all of them actually, are doing things outside of their full-time jobs. They're students as well as cheering, and so this is their passion. So these 2 young ladies, Crystal and Tiffany, love Pilates. They teach it, and so they're just kind of sharing their talents with our community.
Amazing. And you had just mentioned, but I know they were saying in their intro earlier that they're both instructors, so they do a lot more than just just what you see on the sidelines as well.
Absolutely. So they all have, like I said, their careers. They're in school, so they are able to do have their passion, but also serve their purpose. And so this is one of those passion items where they're here sharing Pilates with our community.
What do you hope all the women, I think there are some men in there as well, that are here that take away after they leave the class here today?
Well, hopefully they'll find a love for Pilates, follow our cheer program, and see all the awesome things that our ladies are doing in the community and serving as ambassadors for the organization, and then that they'll come back.
Absolutely. And then, so when can people catch tomorrow? If you're coming out to the game, when's the first cheerleader performance?
Absolutely. So Home Depot backyard. So before the game starts, the cheerleaders are actually performing. So as soon as gates open, there's a performance. First quarter as well as third quarter, we're announcing our Pro Bowl cheerleader. Also hoping that some of these folks will come back and enjoy this beautiful hotel. Oh my goodness.
Yes, I know.
It's amazing.
It's my first time in here too, and it's it's incredible. It's incredible. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to give everyone a look at the class one more time. We'll catch up with you in our next hour as well. So I'm going to walk you guys back over here so you can see a little bit more of this class that's going on. Again, still kind of in this early warm-up phase right now. Excited to see when they start doing some of the silent routines as well. This is going to be going on until 11:30 or so. They had it scheduled for. They did get off a little bit late, so probably past 11:30 as well. Step away from that audio right there so you guys can hear me a little bit better. But we'll, of course, keep you updated throughout throughout the morning here, Judea?
Oh, Kim, when I hear the music that loud, I know they're having a great time in there and probably breaking a sweat. This is also a way, a lot of women are looking at this as a way to figure out what they need to do in the new year. If fitness is top of mind for them, a lot of people have fitness as one of their New Year resolutions. So it's a great way to figure out what you need to work on. Kim, thank you so much for giving us a live look out there at that workout class with the Atlanta Falcons cheerleaders. So cool. We do have some breaking news that I want to get to you too, though. There has been a small plane crash confirmed in Doraville. We have very little information about this situation, but here's what we do know. 2 people were injured in this. It's believed to have happened on Homeland Drive in Doraville, Georgia. This is all being confirmed by the DeKalb County Fire Rescue. Captain Jason Daniels gave us these few details, and we're trying to figure out as much as we can. But again, I can tell you that there has been a small aircraft crash. 2 people were injured. This all happening on Homeland Drive in Doraville. We'll try to keep our eyes on it, and as soon as I know some more information, I will get it out to you. Wanted to make sure you had that breaking news in this hour. All right, you guys, we are due now for a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll be talking about more of our live news of the day, and we'll also be checking back in on the monks, these Buddhist monks who are making their way through America right now and have hit our neck of the woods. We'll have more on that when we come back.
something to that magnitude happens. We also missed out on some things as well. We're taking a look back at the year that was with weather with the meteorologist in charge from the National Weather Service in Peachtree City, Keith Stellman. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
So, active year for some components of weather, but for others not so much. Number 5 on the list, where do we start?
Number 5 on the list is the hurricane season that was not this year. We did not have any landfalling U.S. hurricanes this year.
And so, you know, a lot of people look at that and say, okay, well, where were they? That's not to say it wasn't an active season, right?
No, actually, it was a pretty active season for the Atlantic this year. We had 4 Category 4 or higher storms this year. Of the 4 major hurricanes this year, 3 of them were Category 5. That's only happened in 2 other seasons. This season and then 2004, we had 4 Category 5 storms.
And while we might have missed out on the hurricanes this year, we didn't necessarily miss out on a lot of the severe weather. So what's number 4 on the list?
Number 4 on their list is the Henry County tornado, the EF2 tornado from May 29th.
In Henry County, I mean, whenever we look back at 2025, it seems like that was kind of a hot spot for tornado warnings and actual tornadoes as they happened.
Yeah, there was actually 23 tornado warnings in and around the Henry County area this year with 8 tornado tracks. Unfortunately, the past few years, we've seen it numerous times in that region, from the Griffin tornado in 23 to the storms that passed this year. There's obviously a lot more cameras on the GDOT roadway, so we're able to capture a lot more. We just have had an active period during that part of the state.
And as meteorologists, something we like to talk about is that it doesn't always take a tornado to cause damage, and that brings us to number 3 on the list.
Number 3 is the straight line wind event that started in Pickens in northern Cherokee County and ran for 51 miles across Dawson, across northern Hall, across Lake Lanier, and into Banks County.
And where we are in the United States, we obviously have a lot of pine trees and things like that. Now, you actually did the survey of this event.
I did.
Can you talk a little bit about what you were looking for and why people who think that this might have been a tornado, why that might not be correct?
Sure. So in that survey, and some surveys like this are pretty complicated, it ended up being a bow echo, but what we were looking for were like consistency in the damage, and what we ended up seeing was about a mile to a mile and a half wide swath of damage, but within that area of damage, we were seeing concentrated damage areas where the trees and everything would, like if you stepped back and looked at it, it would be more of a fanned out look to it, which is indicative of a microburst within the area of damage.
I think it really proves the point that just because something might look like tornado damage doesn't mean it is tornado damage.
An 89 mile an hour wind from a tornado is the same as an 89 mile an hour wind from a straight line wind event, which is what we saw in that case.
And while we all saw other strong storms this year, they didn't break the top 2. Let's do something a little more lighthearted. What's the number 2 event for 2025?
Number 2 event this year was the winter storm number 1, the January 10th winter storm.
Yeah, so a number of people saw snow out of that, particularly here in the metro area. And as we look at this, can you talk a little bit about the higher totals and how that broke a snow drought for some people?
Sure. So it's the biggest snow event we've had in Atlanta, the Atlanta metro, since the 2017-2018 season. So we're going back 7 years or so to the biggest event that we've seen like this. Anywhere from 2 to 4 inches fell in the I-20 corridor, particularly concentrated in the metro region.
And while that event was somewhat impactful, we had the first event that obviously coincided with the national championship here in Atlanta. That brings us to number 1.
Number 1 is the January 21st event of this past year. I don't know whether people realize how similar that event was to 2014 in terms of the way the atmosphere was behaving leading up to and during that event. It almost mimicked 2014 to a T.
And fortunately, we didn't repeat what we did in 2014. Can you talk a little bit about why that might be?
One was we had a lot more lead time leading up to this event. So we could see it coming a little better because we have hundreds of more models today than we did just 11 years ago. 2, the lessons learned from that event till now were applied in this case to prevent what happened in 2014. And it's a really good case of taking some lessons learned and using them to prevent a disaster like what we saw in 2014.
And one of those lessons learned that you might have noticed on Fox 5 last year that we adapted with the National Weather Service is those snow forecasts. And you're going to notice it this year as well. We're saying up to a certain amount of impact across the area, and that's something we got from
There's a certain perception. If you go back to 2014, the term dusting was used a lot. There's a certain perception that goes with that. And so in this case, we knew that if it did snow, it was going to be impactful. So we removed the word dusting, even though it was going to be light snow, because we knew it was going to freeze on impact.
All right, Keith, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Remember that you can stay connected to the Fox 5 Storm Team using the Fox 5 Weather app. You can download it in the App Store, the Google Play Store, and you can stay connected through 2026.
That was so cool. Thank you so much, Alex and Keith, for bringing us that kind of wrap through of everything.
Good insight, right?
Yeah, for the whole year.
Yeah.
That's wild when you think back on it. And I, of course, remember that winter storm. Do you?
They all blend into one. I'm just being honest. From one to the next, I mean, you know, just me in a Fox 5 Storm Team hat and a jacket.
Okay, guys, I do forget you were probably out and about covering it.
Oh my gosh.
Bringing in a bed to the office. That was different for me. I've never had to do that before. But But we do want to bring you all some good news. We have been keeping up with these monks making it across America. And Caitlin, before we begin, I do want to tell you on our TikTok chat.
Oh, people weighing in?
Yeah, Beautiful Nightmare says she's actually going to see the monks and Aloka the dog in Peachtree City today.
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
And see, they are a social media sensation. And also too, there's just something as we look at these photos, there's just something so calming, so zen.
Yeah.
And just so touching about this whole endeavor. So let's dig into what exactly is happening. This is, we're just part of something larger here in Georgia. They just entered this group of 19 monks, this Walk for Peace, just entered Georgia yesterday. They were making their way in from Alabama. They stopped and so many people were walking alongside with them during their portion of a journey yesterday, stopped with them to have lunch. Now, the purpose of this, 2,300 miles, that's the goal. They're heading to Washington, D.C., ultimately, heading through 10 different states along the way. They're traveling on foot to encourage mindfulness, nonviolence, and connection across communities across the United States. They're inviting everybody along the way, and you can see so many people, yes, accepting that invitation to reflect on peace at both a personal and ultimately big picture, a societal level. So let's rewind a little bit to when they started. This was back in October, Fort Worth, Texas. Since then, they've been walking every day. This is day 64 of a projected 120 days. Can you imagine?
No.
What?
Just walking one day.
Right, right. And carrying walking sticks, minimal possessions here. Along the way, I did see, looking back, they were barefoot at times. I mean, this is just really impressive. Now, if you notice, Judea, in our video, they're tying strings onto people's wrists. And this is a gesture, a traditional gesture to tie those strings around wrists for good luck, for health and protection. And apparently what you're supposed to do, accept it, of course, and then wear it until it falls off naturally. So just really a symbol of the connection.
Yeah.
Right?
And I also think this is such a peaceful, like, real human connection. But the way so many people found out about them was social media.
Oh,
Social media
100%.
can be good.
And it's really fun following along. Just in the last 39 minutes, I do think we have, here we go. Walk for Peace. Today we offer you nothing you don't already have. We simply remind you, you have it. We ring the bell that says, remember, look within. You are not empty. You are full. What a way to start our Sunday service here, okay, at the digital desk. And just this, you know, they've been snapping photos along the way, just their interactions with normal folk who come out just to see what's happening, to engage, to receive that message that they're bringing, a message of peace. And we do have some sound, right? An interview from one of the people who felt moved yesterday to walk alongside with them as they headed to Hogansville. Take a listen.
What do you think you guys walked to get here in LaGrange?
I believe it was about 16 miles. My step counter says 28,000 steps.
Oh, 28,000. So how was it? Was there like people just lined up on the side of the road? What was the experience like?
As the day went on, more and more people were littered along the road, and they everyone brought something, whether that be smiles or food or water. And it also seems like what they're really needing is what they'd really like for donations are Band-Aids and other types of little medical supplies to wrap things like their feet. Some of them walk with thick socks, so things like that are really helpful.
How did you even find out about this? What inspired you to meet up with them and start walking?
Yeah, so I actually found out about it on Facebook, and I've been following them maybe for about a few weeks now, and I just knew I needed to meet up with them and see their message of peace.
Now, are you a Buddhist or a particularly religious person, or are you just inspired by it?
Just inspired by it. I'm not really religious, but I really appreciate their message, and I think all people from all denominations can take something really good from it, and I think it's something that we need now, and I think they're inspiring hope.
So beautiful there. One thing that I wanted to point out, she brought up the donations, anything that they would be taking. I was trying to find it in their comment section. Someone had asked if they could bring them food. They did say yes to that, but for the most part, that young lady said that they're just asking for Band-Aids.
Medical supplies. Yeah.
Socks, because they'll be walking. They're not asking for any money. It's just a very beautiful thing, and all the comments seem to be very positive.
Oh, and each of them is different too in their nature, right? Some questions, what is the significance of the blessing string? Reminding me, whatever it is, to be mindful. So I think what they're putting out there, people are able to take in their own personal way, and I think that's what's so special about it. And if you aren't able to go out and greet them today, they do have their live map happening on their social media website. We have learned that they're going to be walking again tomorrow along Highway 54, heading to Peachtree City between about 7:30 and 8:30. So maybe that's something you want to do. Start your week off on the right foot as we head into this holiday week, where we have New Year's Eve, the start of the 2026 year. So it's just very peaceful. I love this, and it just seems like perfect timing.
It does. This is very much so needed in the world right now. Just that sense of peace and the coming together. And then I also want to remind people that you don't have to be religious to participate in this, because that young lady said that she wasn't.
This is true.
Saw it on social media and she wanted to check it out, and she loved the vibes. So she was there.
It's all about the vibes.
And so once again, I just wanted to reach back out to Beautiful Nightmare, who said that she was going to go see the monks today, and also a look of the Peace song in Peachtree City. If you do go, we would love to see pictures.
Please do.
Yeah, email us.
Tag us. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, Caitlin, thank you so much for talking to us more about the monks. This always feels really good when we're able to talk about these positive stories.
For sure.
Remind people that not all news is bad news. But we are continuing with our headlines of the day. So let's get some national stories for you guys. I want to take a live look out at the White House, where we do know, even though President Donald Trump is on holiday, he's actually in Mar-a-Lago in Florida right now. He's expected to meet with President Zelensky to hopefully finalize this peace deal between Ukraine and Russia. So here's what we know about this situation. President Donald Trump is supposed to host Zelensky out at Mar-a-Lago later on today. I believe it'll be at about 3:30. If you guys are interested in learning more information about that. And this is hoping to close out the peace agreement that would end a nearly 4-year-long war that began with Moscow's invasion of Ukraine. And again, they're going to be meeting out in Florida at Trump's private club in Palm Beach. And that is where the U.S. president has been spending his holiday. He spent Christmas there. He will be ringing in the new year there. His agenda has mostly been filled with golf. Some of us, at points in time, we need a vacation. But Zelensky said that the two will be getting down to business. They plan to discuss security and economic agreements. They'll also be raising some questions around territorial issues, as Moscow and Kyiv remain fiercely at odds over the fate of one of those regions in eastern Ukraine. Also want to let you know that we do know there have been some intensified attacks on Ukraine's capital at the hands of Russia. This is just happening days before this meeting is supposed to happen. We knew that they were using missiles and drones to attack Kyiv to try to increase the pressure on Zelensky. Meanwhile, he says that Ukraine is willing to do whatever it takes to stop the war. He posted that on X just yesterday. So that we need to be strong at the negotiating table. And so that's why he's hoping that President Donald Trump can help him get there. Now, we do know that there was a recent meeting between Zelensky and the Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney. And during this meeting, the Prime Minister actually pledged an additional $2.5 billion for Ukraine. Now, this is a pretty big deal because they're asking for more money in their fight against Russia, hoping that this extra money can help them with supplies, with weapons, whatever it is that they need. The offer was announced just yesterday while Zelensky was out in Canada meeting with the leader. And the funds come just ahead of this scheduled meeting with President Donald Trump later on today. The two leaders, Carney and Zelensky, agreed that Russia needs to be willing to move in a peaceful direction. But first, they say that Ukraine still needs the full support of its allies to lean on Russia to make it happen. Let's listen in on what Carney and Zelensky had to say during that meeting yesterday.
Under President Zelensky's leadership, we have the conditions, the possibility of a just and lasting peace. But that requires a willing Russia. And the barbarism that we saw overnight, the attack on Kyiv, shows just how important it is that we stand with Ukraine during this difficult time, and that we create the conditions for this just and lasting peace and a true reconstruction. And I want to underscore something that has happened in recent weeks, is that the development of that possibility under your leadership, and also the prospect of true prosperity for the Ukrainian people. I'll just finish with one point on Canada. We've provided military assistance, further military assistance. We're announcing today further economic assistance for Ukraine, $2.5 billion worth of economic assistance that helps unlock financing from the IMF, from the World Bank, from the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, to begin this process of rebuilding.
Canada, thank you for your support, first of all, and thanks for your the words that you mentioned about this tonight attack. It was really very difficult, hard attack. Russia launched more than 500 drones and dozens of missiles. And I think thanks for air defense of our partner, that's not enough. And this attack is again Russia's answer on our peace efforts, and it's really showed that Putin doesn't want peace, and we want peace, and he's the man of war, but he's afraid to speak about publicly. But we see the steps, and what we need to stop this war in any way, and we need two things: pressure on Russia and sufficient strong support for Ukraine. We'll speak about it. We will speak about air defense, and it's really last weeks we had good steps in diplomacy, but we can't live in illusion that it gives us possibility to have less air defense. With Russia, it doesn't work. So thank you very much, Mark, for this meeting. We will have bilateral, and as you said, we will join our European friends. And tomorrow I will have, I hope, very important and very constructive meeting with President Trump. Very good.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, so you guys were listening in there to that meeting. Of course, President Donald Trump will be meeting with Zelensky a little later on. And now back on our home front. We know that New Year's right around the corner. A lot of you guys may have some New Year's resolutions, maybe planning for some parties or looking for the party. I can tell you where it's not going to be when we come back. Hey guys, welcome back to Fox 5 News Live. We got some interesting news to tell you about, starting with a burglary, but not of what you might think. So you're taking some look at a surveillance video where you can see someone run into a shop. It seems like they shatter some glass cases and then go ahead and take whatever inside. We heard from police that they were looking for Pokemon cards, rare ones that would bring them thousands and thousands of dollars. In essence, police say that they have gotten away with $100,000 worth of those stolen Pokemon cards. And this is all from a Georgia shop, Tag Collects, on Bankheads Highway. Now, the owners of that store believe that that person may have come in to the store beforehand, scoped out what it is they wanted, so they knew which cards would probably bring in the highest amount of money. They also believe that they had seen some people come into the store before who didn't buy anything. They didn't talk to any of the workers, and so they're wondering if it was somebody like that. But we do know from that video that that person entered the store and took several high-value items. So that included those rare Pokemon cards as well as a couple of sealed boxes and sealed merchandise. These cards run for anywhere between $2,500 to $3,000 a card. There were also some for $8,000. $12,000 per box. So like I said, they got away with about $100,000 according to police. Now, the co-owners also set up a GoFundMe page hoping to help with the repairs from that shattered glass, as well as the payroll, hoping that they can still fund their workers while they're trying to figure out how they're going to pay for everything else. Meanwhile, Carrollton police say if you know anything, you see that person or you recognize them somehow, some way, maybe from the hoodie that they had on, you are going to want to contact Carrollton police as soon as possible. Well, if you have plans for the new year, we know that Airbnb is cracking down, and they say you are not going to be able to book one of their locations if you plan on inviting a whole lot of people into one of those homes. Airbnb released some new technology quite some time ago and now are using it to crack down on New Year's Eve parties. Company says that once it detects an at-risk booking, you'll be blocked from it and you're going to be sent to some other listings on the platform instead. Airbnb says the technology has prevented more than 20,000 people in the U.S. from booking last New Year's Eve. So they're hoping to do the same, maybe even more this year. Also, party reports have decreased by 50% in just the last 5 years since technology has been implemented. So if you want to throw a party, they say you're going to have to do it at your own house or rent a space that is specifically for that. You won't be able to take over one of these innocent homeowners' places of properties in order to do that. I also want to give you some tips on some hassle-free holiday returns. I've told you guys that now some stores will be charging you for trying to bring back some clothes or toys or electronics that you either got for Christmas or you bought ahead of time. They are going to be implementing some fees as much as, like, I think I've seen $11.99, I've seen $7.99, and these are going to be like restocking fees. So they're saying that they're no longer going to eat the charges for when you decide that you don't want something anymore and they have to put it back on the floor. Many stores have changed that return policy, especially during the holidays. Some retailers like Macy's, TJ Maxx, Abercrombie, even Amazon are tacking on those return fees that I've told you about. So you can avoid most return shipping fees by going in-store or at free drop-off spots. And if your purchase was made online, you can check with the retailer for return fees as well as the deadline. And last but not least, don't forget to bring your receipt, or you may get the latest sales price instead of full price. But those are some tips for you. I'm looking at the time now. It's about that time where we take a step back, but we'll be back with even more news of the day, and we'll start with a live look at our weather forecast. We'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back to Fox 5 News Live. I'm Judea Murray. This is our meteorologist Alex Forbes, and we are tracking some breaking news.
Yeah, so not exactly weather right now, but something that we've been tracking this morning is the fog that's been in and around parts of north and central Georgia, and we're following reports now of a plane crash in Doraville.
So we'll be hearing a little bit more about it. Do want to let you, I guess, get to the forecast first, and then we'll...
Okay, so you want to do the forecast first? And then,
Are you able to pull?
I am,
okay.
yeah. So I know exactly where this is, Georgia 141. I've got Fox 5 Live Viper pulled up here, and what I'm going to do is go down into, this is going to be just inside the DeKalb County line here, and I'm looking for Homeland Drive. So this is 141. All right, and Tilly Mill Road. Yeah, thank you for taking that, fool. So this is going to be right here at Homeland Drive. You see it right there in the middle part of your screen. So where we are tracking this for reference is, well, I can't see my cursor, is right in this general area right in here.
It's so cool that you can do this.
So we also have some pictures, which before we pop those up, well, actually, so there they are right there. That's Georgia 141 right there on your left. So that's the access road on the right looking south. So that green sign you see off in the distance is the Tilly Mill Road exit. So this is going to be on the west side of 141, again, just inside the DeKalb County line. And by the looks of the map, if we could pop that back up, Chris, you see the access road right there on the side of the interstate? Those cop cars are probably about a quarter mile away from that, right? Because you're about a half mile from the Tilly Mill Road sign from what we saw there. So you can see our photographers being kept a ways away from this on Homeland Drive. But you know, for reference, this is right where the Home Depot is over there in DeKalb, and just north of the 285 interchange. And also worth noting that it is just north of DeKalb Peachtree Airport, right? That is right in line with the runway as it faces north-northeast. That would be, in fact, I can throw a distance on it from the edge of the runway here. Oops, let's see. Problem is I can't see my mouse on this. There we go. So it's going to be about 3 miles from the airport, right in line with that.
Oh my goodness. Once again, it's cool that you're able to draw on the screen so it's interactive for us, especially for our people who are out there on TikTok and YouTube right now watching live. But also great that you knew the area. And so once we got this breaking news in, you were right on top of it.
I've driven 141 many a times, you know, especially there from 285. But then also just knowing, you know, growing up here, knowing the proximity of PDK and what's north and south of it, you know, I happen to know that we here at Fox 5 are south of PDK, and then that this area is north of PDK, again, by about 3 miles. And this happened about an hour ago, a little more than an hour ago now. And you know, just knowing what was going on this morning, a decent amount of fog across north and central Georgia, particularly during that
visibility issue, possibly.
It could have been. All I'm saying is that yes, there was fog around, and that wasn't a secret this morning, right? Yeah. I had the images all morning on Good Day Atlanta of the low cloud cover coming by downtown, midtown, and up towards Lake Lanier, and you know that included where we're looking in DeKalb County.
And DeKalb County Fire Rescue, they are on this. I believe I also heard that Dunwoody Police are also joining the investigation. So far, we know that 2 people have been injured. We don't know to what extent, but we're hoping to get that information out for you guys. So from meteorologist to breaking news reporter.
All of the hats. Wear all of the hats. So you want to hop into the weather real quick?
Yes, I do.
Funny enough, that comes from the same system, so I got it pulled up right here. All right, so 64 now in Atlanta. We're not going to warm much more than this thanks to the low cloud cover out there. I'm looking for about 70 later this afternoon. 71 in Rome, 65 in Dalton, 59 in Gainesville, 63 over in Athens, and 63 in Blairsville, already to 68 down there in Eatonton. Now, we're not going to be as warm as we were yesterday. Set a record 78 degrees. The previous record was 75, set back in 2015. We also defeated a record on Christmas Eve, so this is the second record-breaking day in a while now here in the metro area. Visibility, as I mentioned, continues to improve. 10 miles, Gainesville and Covington, 9 miles there in Athens, and 10 miles in Eatonton. And through the day today, while the visibility on the ground continues to improve, we are looking at a decent chance of scattered shower or two. Not widespread by any stretch of the imagination, but definitely that cloud cover, holding on to that here through the afternoon hours. 70 in Atlanta today, 73 in Eatonton, 69 in Athens, 65 in Blairsville, and then boom, back to regularly scheduled programming beginning really tomorrow afternoon, to be honest with you. That 58 is going to happen really early in the day, and we're going to cool from there down into the 20s by the time we get to Tuesday morning, back to 42 Tuesday afternoon, and then hovering right around average for the remainder of the week as we ring in 2026. But we are going to be shoving 2025 out the door on a cold note. 25 Tuesday morning, 27 Wednesday morning. The real story is this, though, the wind chills, all right? So it's going to be a sudden change. We're going to be feeling like the 50s and 60s tomorrow morning. Boom, 30s by 10 a.m. It is going to be one of those weird days where it's warmer in the overnight and then cooler during the day, and it's only going to get progressively cooler. There we are to 3 o'clock, still feeling like the freezing mark, and as soon as the sun sets, the 20s settle in. And as soon as we wake up, the teens settle in, and the single digits up to the north. Yeah, 3 Blairsville, 7 Canton. It wouldn't surprise me if on some of those GDOT sensors that we have on the gaps up across the mountains, from Springer Mountain up through, say, Brasstown Bald, you could get a negative wind chill value. But that's only like 3,500 feet and up, right? Most people don't live above 3,500 feet. So unless you are walking the dog on top of Springer Mountain in the morning, you're okay on the negative wind chill front. 42 for Tuesday, 51 on Wednesday, 54 for New Year's Day.
It's actually funny that you're talking about walking the dog on top of the mountain, because I didn't get to watch the piece just yet, but meteorologist Lauren Robinson was talking about one of the things you could do for the new year is go hiking.
Yes. Yeah, she does all of her state park stuff. You could go visit. And I think they've got like a deal or something going on. I don't remember the specifics on it, but the Georgia State Park organization, whatever they are, has some sort of access for New Year's Day.
Oh, that's really cool. So that's one of those pieces that actually is available on Fox Local right now. Like I said, I haven't gotten a chance to watch it just yet, but that is something that you guys might be interested in if you're looking for some New Year's Eve plans. Now, Alex, before you go anywhere, I actually see that we just got some more information from the Dunwoody Police Department. This is all coming from Sergeant Michael Cheek on that small aircraft crash that we were telling you guys about. So I want to see if we can get right back into that. So you're taking a look at some of the officer cars there in Doraville, where we learned that crash happened and that 2 people were injured. According to Sergeant Michael Cheek, a small plane crash on Homeland Drive within the city of Doraville happened. There were no casualties, thank goodness. Just 2 people who were on the plane at the time did crash. They were injured. Both of those 2 people were pilots. They are both alive at this point in time. They just sustained some non-life-threatening injuries. They have both been taken to Grady Memorial Hospital for treatment. As Alex mentioned before, this was maybe about an hour ago, so they had some time to get there. Now, there are some small parts of the aircraft in Dunwoody, but the crash site itself happened in Doraville on Homeland Drive. Sergeant Michael Cheek says he's not aware of any other structural damage or any other injuries, which again is one of the silver linings in all of this. But Dunwoody police are responding and assisting Doraville, and the National Transportation Safety Board has been notified of this crash. So that's the latest that we got there, and that was literally about 2 minutes ago that we got that information. I'm glad Alex is still sitting up here.
It's just something to add there. I tell you what, Chris, if we could pop back up the map. All right, so the report is that parts were found in Dunwoody.
Yes.
All right, so I'm looking at this map, and remember how we were measuring the distance from the airport, which you see at the bottom of your screen there, up to where this crash site was, which is just south of where 4 Oaks is labeled. Notice Dunwoody is well off to the left.
Yes, so then how did they make it all the way there?
Well, so what it's telling me is, I would surmise based off that information that it was not a takeoff, right? Like you don't take off over to Dunwoody and then end up over in the 4 Oaks area with pieces found in Dunwoody. I would suspect that they were trying to land, right? You're coming from a certain direction because that's the only way you get something, over in this area. Because that's Dunwoody, and then 4 Oaks, the plane crash was right there, which would be in line with that. So,
well,
the more you know.
Yeah, it's like we're putting the pieces together. I feel like the mystery crew. We're just trying to, figure out exactly what happened.
Right, and fortunately enough, I mean, obviously there were injuries, but not life-threatening, and the 2 people presumably on the plane are at Grady now.
Yes, so they are receiving the help that they need at this point in time, and again, just thankfully no one was killed in this incident. All right, so we're going to continue on with our news of the day, but first I want to get you a live look out at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, the world's busiest airport, our neck of the woods. We know a lot of people have been trying to get back home for the holidays, or maybe are trying to get rid of some overstayed guests, and travel is going to be a top talker. This is the busy travel period for everybody between Christmas and the New Year, where everybody's trying to figure out where they're going next. So we are tracking delays and cancellations out at Atlanta Airport. Now, first I'm checking the Federal Aviation Administration's website for the National Airspace System. It looks like we do not have any current ground stops, departure delays, none of that stuff, which is great news. Can't say that for everybody else. In Boston, they are de-icing. Out in Orlando, there's a departure delay. Thankfully, we're doing pretty good in our neck of the woods. But next, I'm going to check FlightAware's misery map. That tells me how many delays and cancellations there are currently at the Atlanta airport. And right now, at 11:11, we are looking at 218 delays. We're also looking at 102 cancellations. So if you have some family who's in town and you're wondering when they're going to leave, well, it might be an issue. A lot of flights, especially Delta Airlines flights, you know, we are the hub for Delta, are delayed and canceled at this point in time. And so I've been telling everybody all morning long, you're going to want to have your airline's app downloaded onto your phone, because as soon as there is a delay, as soon as there is a cancellation, you'll know that right away. Also, I want to keep your eyes on the Department of Transportation's website, because I've been telling people too, if your flight is delayed for a long period of time, and if you do have a cancellation, you may be opting in for a travel voucher, maybe even in for a food voucher. There's a lot of information that you might not know, or a lot of things you might not know are available to you that really are. So check the Department of Transportation's website, DOT, and see if you can find out if you are owed anything, and then the proper channels in which you should go through to make sure that you get it. Oh, okay, so take a deep breath. We have a couple of more headlines that I want to run through with you. These are all going to be local headlines happening right here in the Metro Atlanta area. Starting on Coolidge Avenue, where we learned that 2 bodies were found, 2 people found dead in a home in Atlanta. And one of those people was an Atlanta police officer, actually a detective. So Atlanta police got to the scene on Coolidge Avenue at around 4 p.m. Saturday because that officer, a couple of his friends, said that they wanted a welfare check to be performed. Usually that happens when somebody's worried, maybe they haven't heard from you in a while and they just want to make sure everything is okay. So they'll do a welfare check. When police got to the scene, they say they got inside and they found an officer and a woman who were both dead inside that home. Now, Atlanta police are calling this an isolated incident. They don't say that they're looking for any suspects in this case. They also say that there's no threat to the community, which, you know, your imagination then goes, what exactly happened in this case? Unfortunately, we don't have much more information besides that. A neighbor says that they found the man found dead was an Atlanta police detective. He says that they've lived next door to each other for just about 10 years now. I want to play that sound from the neighbor who talked a little bit more emotionally about what all this meant.
Very friendly, peaceful person who always had a smile on his face, always happy to help if you needed an extra hand. We'd pick up each other's mail when we were at it, just normal neighbor stuff. When I found out, my kids were one of like 6 kids playing on the street, and no one ever felt in danger. It was pretty clear to us pretty quickly that it wasn't a situation where there was a perpetrator on the loose.
Well, Atlanta police are offering some support services to officers who are going to have to mourn the loss of one of their very own, because I assume that this is a very difficult time to know that a coworker, maybe even a friend, has lost their life, and not knowing much more information besides that. All right. Going to continue with our latest news of the day. Last night we heard over in Atlanta Station, it was insane. Hundreds of teenagers are accused of causing some chaos out there in Atlanta Station, where, if you're familiar with the area, there's a movie theater, they've got their ice skating rink, they even got some Christmas holiday lights out if you wanted to stop by for a good time with the family. So at around 7 p.m. we learned that Atlanta police were called to the scene. They had gotten calls that there were some possible shots fired. Well, when they got out there, they found out there were no guns. These teenagers, 400 to 500 of them, were shooting fireworks throughout the shopping area and also possibly into crowds of people. And so the police were there to help disperse that large gathering of those teenagers. When I think about a number like 400 to 500, I graduated from a very small high school. There were about 207 people just in my graduating class. So I imagine for me, that was my entire high school, would be that 400 to 500 people. And that's an insane number of folks in one area to think about. So I just wanted to put that in perspective for you all. Because there were so many teens, we're not sure just how many arrests, if any, were made, but I can tell you right now, there have been no charges filed in all of this. So we're trying to figure out a little bit more information. And whether or not anybody will face charges in the future. But just in case you were driving through the area and you didn't know why you were seeing so many police cars, or maybe you were on social media and you saw videos like this one that show Atlanta police choppers in the sky, this is what happened last night in Atlantic Station. 400 to 500 teens shooting fireworks, according to police officers, into a crowd and also throughout the shopping area, shutting down the whole area for quite some time while they tried to clear everyone out. We're also learning more about a Tennessee fugitive who escaped and was found in Georgia. And the way he was found, I mean, you're seeing there on your screen, pretty wild ending. So we learned in Tennessee, this man suspect, who hasn't been named, by the way, was facing attempted murder charges, and at some point in time got away from law enforcement officers and went on the run. So that chase started after Calhoun police called the Gordon County Sheriff's Department here in Georgia to help assist with the pursuit. The suspect was reportedly driving a truck faster than 90 miles per hour at some points and had made it down Redbud Road here in Georgia. That's when deputies who responded performed a pit maneuver on the truck, causing it to crash into the embankment. So you see that white truck there on the side of your screen, just kind of almost on its side, not quite, but almost on its side. The name of the suspect has not been released just yet, but we do know that this person was a suspect of an attempted murder. We also know that person is back in custody. They say after that pit maneuver and after that person was rendered immobile, they were taken into custody without any further issues. And right now, we know that they're going to face some charges here in Georgia. They're also going to face charges back in Tennessee. So potentially made the situation much worse for themselves. So that's what's happening in our neck of woods in terms of local headlines. We'll continue on with our news of the day, but I can tell you, coming on up, we are going to check out a workout where we hear the Atlanta Falcons cheerleaders are leading a pretty cool class, and you guys, it's free. We'll have more on that when we come back. Hey guys, welcome back to Fox 5 News Live. I'm Judea Murray. Just want to give a quick shout out to one of the people in our TikTok chat, Fred Smith. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. We are very, very happy to have you. And just so you know, the way that this goes is if there's a question that you have, you can go ahead and hit us up in the chat. We can respond to you in real time, and it may affect the way that we cover or what we're covering here on Fox 5 News Live. Also, if you have any comments or questions for our reporters, we're able to get that out to you as well. All right, everybody else, do you have a New Year's resolution? Because some people decide that they're going to start working out, they want to hit those health goals. And what if I told you that there's a way you can work out where not only you look good and you feel good, but you could end up being like ripped, just like an Atlanta Falcons cheerleader? There is a class going on right now. It is free, and this is all before the Falcons LA Rams game. I want to get out to our Kim Luffa, who's checking it all out for you guys. Kim, how are things going at this point in time?
Hey, Judea. Well, the class actually just wrapped up in about the last 5 minutes. They were doing some warm-ups, some Pilates, and they actually did some of the sideline cheers as well. But let me just show you, because we're here at the Signia Hotel. We're looking around. They were initially starting in this room. You can see Mercedes-Benz just beyond us there, but they actually came all the way out here because they had so many people that they needed to spill over into the hallway. So everyone's just kind of mingling right now, catching up after the class. But I am going to grab, if I can, I'm going to grab Ms. Chateau Hendricks, the director of the Atlanta. Earlier, after our last hit, how many people came out, and then right after that, everyone came out into the hallway.
Yes, we're so excited to see the number of people that showed up. We had planned for a small number, the amount of people we were expecting, and then just to see the fun that they were having and seeing our ladies engaged and sharing their love for dance and Pilates with this group was absolutely amazing.
Absolutely. And so talk why it was so important for you guys to do this today. You said this is the first time you've done a class like this.
Yes, absolutely. So it was an opportunity. We were always looking for unique ways to partner with our organizations, partners, our community partners. And so Hilton, Signia by Hilton, right here in our back door, literally, was just it just made sense, a great pairing to pair with their spa, and they've offered amazing specials for the participants today. And this was a free class, and so it was just a very organic opportunity for us to kind of add the relaxation of just Pilates and just the strengthening, prepping for game day, not only for the cheerleaders, but for this group to actually see more about our program as well. So we have prep classes coming up in a few weeks and auditions 2026 around the corner. So it's a great way to kind of segue into that.
Yeah, and for you guys who don't know, these women work so hard to get ready, ready to audition. And for the current cheerleaders, it's more than just what they see on the sidelines. I know we were mentioning that, both of the cheerleaders leading the class today, they're actually instructors.
Yes, absolutely. So being an Atlanta Falcons cheerleader and performing on game day is really just about 10% of the commitment. The other times they're in the community working with various charity, civic, and corporate groups, but they're actually full-time employees or they're in school, and so their love and their passion for dance is just an opportunity for them to have their purpose in their careers, but also their passions with dance.
Amazing, amazing. I know we got the game tomorrow. You said not the last one. There's one more after that.
Yes.
But for anyone that wants to come out and see them, when are they going to be performing tomorrow?
So they can catch them pre-game right outside, right out here at the Home Depot backyard. They'll perform, and then they're performing a pre-game, halftime, first quarter, as well as third quarter. We're announcing our 2026 Pro Bowl cheerleaders, so would absolutely love to see our fans.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. This was so great to be here and to see this. I really appreciate your time. I'm going to flip this back around, guys. So, if you're definitely come out, catch the cheerleaders tomorrow. We're going to be out there for the game. I'm actually going to the game tomorrow. I'm really excited. It's actually my second Falcons game ever, first one that I've been to this season. So it's going to be a good time. So if you see me, certainly stop me, say hi. I'm going to be checking out the cheerleaders as well. I've taken dance classes with a lot of them. They are incredible, incredible performers. So it's going to be a good time today and a good time tomorrow all around, Judea.
Oh, Kim, this sounds really, really cool. I'm glad you were able to give us a live look in there. And I also realized that I thought the game was, they would know it's Monday Night Football. So can you tell that I'm not a huge football fan? But it's cool that you're going to the game.
Judea. That's the only reason I know.
No, we're going to give you the benefit of the doubt. But it's cool that you're going to the game. I hope you have an amazing time. Maybe you'll get to see the Fox 5 sports team while they're out there, because they, obviously cover all of our games. They'll be keeping up to date on everything that's happening out there.
Absolutely.
All right, you guys, let's come back in here. We are also keeping up with some things happening in terms of giving back, some altruism. We know that there are 2 Atlanta restaurants that are making donations for every meal that you buy. To tell us more about that initiative, why it's happening, and how you can participate, our reporter and photojournalist Eli Jordan is on the scene.
Hey, good morning, Judea. Yeah, I'm out here at Doc Che's now. I'm just down the road from where I was, which was Osteria 832, and that's on North Highland here in Virginia Highland. And if you've ever eaten at any of these places, they're really good and tasty. And Doc Che's, they make what they call fusion Asian type of food. I've eaten here a whole bunch because it's really close to the station. But what they're also doing, though, is they are teaming up with the Atlanta Food Bank. And for every meal they serve, they're going to donate 3 meals to the Atlanta Food Bank, and they have done this for the past 6 years, and they have donated over 432,000 meals over the past 6 years, and the goal is 50,000 meals each year, and they got 3 more days left, and they're about at 85%. So they're pretty close to meeting their goal, but they got a little bit more to go. And I'm here with Doc Che's and Osteria's owner, Rick Che. Rick, thank you for joining us. And just tell me, why do you guys decide to team up with the Atlanta Food Bank?
Well, good karma is a big part of our company culture, and we feel that it's really important for us to share our good fortune with people who are less fortunate than us.
And here we are. We're at about 3 days left. We're at 3 days left of the year, and you got 85% of your goal met. Do you think you'll be able to get that last 15%?
Yeah, we'll get it. Our customers love participating in this December campaign that we do. So I believe that we'll have a lot of customers coming in between now and Tuesdays to help us reach our goal.
So it's been it's 1 meal, and you guys donate 3 meals, correct?
That's correct.
And I guess that includes delivery, because I know it's going to be cold and windy and blustery, and people might be hunkering down for the next couple of days as the New Year arrives. I mean, does the delivery count as well?
Yeah, so customers can either come dine with us in the restaurant, or they can call in their order, or they can order online on our website. And all those meals will be counted towards our goal.
I guess, it's got to be a good feeling. People, you're giving back to the community. You've been part of this community for quite some time, over 2 decades. You're well known. I mean, it's giving back to the community. How important is that for businesses to understand, hey, we live in this neighborhood too?
Yeah, so we're coming up on our 28th year in business. So we've been here a long time, and really this is our community. So we do a lot of local charity work. We've raised a lot of money for the firehouse, Station 19 down the street. Yep. And the Giving Kitchen, which is another hospitality-oriented nonprofit, and the food bank has been one of our best partners.
So you help out the city's oldest firehouse. You help out the Giving Kitchen, which helps service industry workers when things are tight, and then also the Atlanta Food Bank, which is general citizens all the way around. Not every company is altruistic like that. I mean, you mentioned karma. Have you noticed karma coming back around and helping you guys out? I mean, I guess you guys are still here and successful.
Yes, we actually have a lot of customers who come in and thank us for our community involvement. So we do know that it matters, and we know that it matters to our customers.
Awesome. So if you could reach out to the people who might be sitting at home watching, and they got a family watching and whatnot, sticking around for the New Year's, what would you tell them to do to help out?
I would ask them to come in and enjoy a delicious meal at either Doc Che's or Osteria and help us reach our goal of 50,000 meals.
And 50,000, we're 85%. And tell me your hours real quick here at Doc Che's now. We're at Doc Che's.
So we're open for lunch and dinner every day from 11:30 till 9 p.m.
And tell me about the food real quick. How would you describe the genre of food?
I would describe it as Pan-Asian. So if you look at our menu, we have our menu is influenced by Japanese, Chinese, Korean, and Vietnamese and Thai cuisines. So there's a very wide variety of Asian flavors that you can enjoy here.
It's tasty stuff. And also, too, what's really neat when you come in here to order Judea, I don't know if you've ever been here, you see them working those woks and the flames flying up and stuff when they're going hot at it and they're real busy. But they're not open yet. They will be open soon. 11 o'clock? What time is it again?
11:30.
11:30 they will be open. And so, yeah, that's your chance to come down here. And as you indulge in the good food and the noodles and the soups and your fortune cookie, you will be given a little bit of a fortune back, as the meal you bought will contribute 3 more meals to the Atlanta Food Bank. And they're 15% away from their goal of 50,000 meals just in this month. So Osteria, 832 down the road in Virginia Highland, or Doc Chase, where I'm at in Virginia Highland, you can help out the Atlanta Food Bank just by ordering a meal. So come on down. You got 2 days left. So, dine in, carry out, doesn't matter. Help out the Atlanta Food Bank. Judea?
Eli, that was a great way to wrap up everything that you have heard, everything you've been learning while you were out there. I know you've been popping back in between both restaurants, and I do want to remind everybody that this is happening so they can give back. So again, as he mentioned, every meal that you buy, 3 more are going to go and be donated. So that is really, really big. And I love that I'm also able to bring some good news, but I do have to put a pin in that because I do have some more on this breaking news situation. Let's get a look out at those police cars. That's all happening in Doraville. So we learned about 2 pilots being injured in a small aircraft crash, and I do want to let you know we've got even more information on this situation as officials are continuing to get to the area and give us more. So let's start from the very, very beginning. When we first heard about this, we just knew it was a small aircraft crash. 2 people were injured. This all happening on Homeland Drive in Doraville. We later learned that Dunwoody police were also involved in the investigation, and that's because parts of that small aircraft ended up in their jurisdiction. However, the crash itself happened in Doraville. 2 pilots who were on board at the time have been injured in this crash. We do know that they've been taken to Grady Memorial Hospital, where they're being treated at this moment in time, right now as we speak. Now, law enforcement officers, Sergeant Michael Cheek from Dunwoody Police Department told us that he's not aware of any other structural damage or any other injuries. And honestly, we're all thankful for that no one else was hurt in this. And we're praying for a speedy recovery from the 2 pilots who were hurt. I can confirm at this point in time that we have heard those were not life-threatening injuries. The National Transportation Safety Board has been notified about this, and we're still looking for more information. Now, from DeKalb County, we're hearing that this was a 6-seater plane that apparently hit a tree about 2 miles away from Peachtree, DeKalb, the airport out there, and it appears that it struck that tree about 60 feet above ground and then hit the ground in a residential area. If you were able to join our live stream earlier, our Alex Forbes had a map up. He zoomed way in, and you could see that area looked like a wooded area, and then you could also see where there were some homes nearby. And so again, this was a residential area where it hit a tree and then came down on the ground. It did not directly strike any other structures, so no buildings that we know of. And again, DeKalb County law enforcement, they're confirming that 2 passengers were on board. We know from other law enforcement agents that those 2 passengers were pilots, and they have been taken to the hospital with those non-life-threatening injuries, which again, it seems to be the little bit of a blessing that we have in this situation. So I wanted to make sure that we kept you up to date on everything that we are learning about this breaking news that we are going to keep you updated on as this live stream continues. In the meantime, we are going to take a quick break. I want to tell you that there are some pretty cool things that are happening in our area while we are keeping up with this horrible situation that thankfully does not end in tragedy. We also know that there are some Buddhist monks who are making their way through, and they say that it's to spread peace, and they're bringing all sorts of good feelings and connectivity with them. We'll check in on what they're doing, why they're doing it, and where they're going next when we come back. 3. Hey guys, welcome back to Fox 5 News Live. I'm Judea Murray. Caitlin Pratt is back on the desk, which means we are tracking the monks.
Yes. Oh, it's been so fun. I introduced to them when they first entered Georgia yesterday. And so many of you, though, have been monitoring them on social media. Just phenomenon. And for good reason, right? And especially this season, I feel like we're in the midst of a transition period between 2026, 2027. So the message is especially poignant. Right? They're walking across America for peace, and it is called the Walk for Peace. 19 monks, you see them there, dressed in orange, making their way with just simply dressed with walking sticks, walking in just single file. They're planning on hitting about 10 states in all, 2,300 miles. This is day 64 of 120, and a months-long journey promoting peace, compassion, unity. This isn't to protest, they say, but to, quote, awaken the peace that already lives within each of us. And we've been monitoring Judea just this morning even. Whoever's doing their social media, by the way.
On point.
Okay. I think we do have the latest post there where they just reflect on the fact that the support they're getting along the way. They left actually Fort Worth, Texas back in October. Here we go. And this is their latest post saying, even in darkness, we're walking here. The light is within you. When we walk together, even darkness becomes light. Thank you so much. That's so poetic, isn't it? My goodness, bringing all the vibes this morning, this Sunday morning for sure. Now, yesterday we did catch up with them. They were walking from Alabama. They entered Georgia, and we caught up with them in Hogansville. A massive crowd, some of them walking along with them, waiting for them. Take a listen to what one woman had to tell us about why she was just called to be there.
How far do you think you guys walked to get here in LaGrange?
I believe it was about 16 miles. My step counter says 28,000 steps.
Oh, 28,000. So how was it? Was there like people just lined up on the side of the road? What was the experience like?
As the day went on, more and more people were littered along the road, and everyone brought something, whether that be smiles or food or water. And it also seems like what they're really needing is what they'd really like for donations are Band-Aids and other types of little medical supplies to wrap things like their feet. Some of them walk with thick socks, so things like that are really helpful.
How did you even find out about this? What inspired you to meet up with them and start walking?
Yeah, so I actually found out about it on Facebook, and I've been following them maybe for about a few weeks now, and I just knew I needed to meet up with them and see their message of peace.
Now, are you a Buddhist or a particularly religious person, or are you just inspired by it?
Just inspired by it. I'm not really religious, but I really appreciate their message, and I think all people from all denominations can take something really good from it, and I think it's something that we need now, and I think they're inspiring hope.
Oh, I love to hear it. And Caitlin, on our TikTok, Fred Smith says, I'm praying for peace on earth. Well, you got a little piece of it here in Georgia. They're spreading it.
I love that. And still on the move this morning. They left early this morning. They're going to be heading to Peachtree City tomorrow morning. So still a lot of miles ahead as far as they're concerned. I want to point out, because we were talking about this earlier, I want to delve in a little bit deeper about their four-legged friend who's along on this journey. I'm so intrigued. You see him right there. Oh my gosh. So Aloka, that's the peace dog. That's his name, adopted by one of the monks. His name means light. A beacon of love right there. He actually has a heart-shaped mark on his forehead. Aww. I know, so precious. A reminder, yes, love is in all forms, can walk on four legs. So yeah, they're continuing their journey. They're going to be spending tonight at a location in Sharpsburg, we're told, roughly a mile outside of Peachtree City are expected to begin walking once again tomorrow, headed to Peachtree City. So residents, if you are interested in taking it all in, you can catch them along Highway 54 between 7:30 and 8:30. And maybe you've noticed them interacting with people, tying a string around people's wrists. This is symbolic, a gesture of peace, and apparently you're not supposed to remove it. You're just supposed to let it fall off naturally when it's ready to let go.
That actually answers a question that somebody had on their Facebook page. Someone was asking if they got one of those wristbands, would it be disrespectful to take it off and put it on an altar? Disrespectful might not be the word.
Yeah.
But they are suggesting that you keep it on and just let it fall off naturally. That's
absolutely
so zen, so nice.
Learning a lot. We're learning this together this morning, right?
We are. This
Experiencing
is really cool.
new things.
I can't believe this is happening in our area, at least that we'll be able to witness it.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like this does happen. We were talking to our team before, and the Buddhist monks do tend to be out in public, and they'll talk to people and hand out those bracelets. But for us, imagine driving into work, because you said 7:38, right? You're driving to work, you just look up and you see 19 monks passing you by.
And their dog.
And a look. Can't forget a look. Caitlin, thank you so much for helping us track them and keep up with them. You guys, there is a map as well in case you want to know where they are and figure out how you'll get to meet up with them. This is really, really cool. All right, we're going to keep the ball rolling with some of our national news.
Busy day today, yeah.
It is. Let me turn your attention to the White House for a live look. Now, usually the President of the United States would be there, but he's spending his holiday in Mar-a-Lago at his private golf club. We know that later on today at 3:30, he's expected to meet up with President Vladimir Zelensky from Ukraine. And during this talk, he's hoping to finalize a peace deal between Ukraine and Russia, effectively ending that 4-year-long war that began with Moscow's invasion of Ukraine. Now, again, the two of them are going to meet at Mar-a-Lago, which is in Palm Beach, Florida. And again, they are going to hope to talk about how to end this war. Zelensky says the two of them are planning to discuss security, economic agreements, and he's also hoping to raise his attention to the territorial issues as Moscow and Kyiv remain fiercely at odds over the fate of some of those regions in eastern Ukraine. Now, just days before this meeting, here's why that territory is so important. Russia intensified its attacks on Ukraine's capital, using missiles and drones to attack Kyiv and also try to increase some of that pressure on Zelensky. But he says he's not folding. Ukraine is willing to do whatever it takes to stop this war. That is a direct quote from Zelensky that he posted on X just yesterday. He said that we need to be strong at the negotiating table. And so that's why he's hoping to have as many allies as he can, and why he's been trying to talk back and forth with President Donald Trump, hoping that he can help him bring an end to this war. Now, in addition to the meeting that is expected to be had later on today in Mar-a-Lago, we do know that Zelensky also met up with Prime Minister Mark Carney from Canada. And Canada, during that meeting, pledged an additional $2.5 billion in economic aid to Ukraine. So here's what we know about that situation. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney says that Canada is standing behind and with Ukraine. He made this offer on Saturday while Zelensky was there meeting with him. And this, of course, is all coming ahead of that scheduled meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and Zelensky a little later on this afternoon. We also know that it's following that Russian airstrike that I told you about on Ukraine's capital of Kyiv. Now, the two leaders, Carney and Zelensky, agreed that Russia has to be willing to move in a peaceful direction. But first, they say that Ukraine needs its full support of allies to lean on Russia to make it happen. Let's listen in to what they had to say during that meeting.
Under President Zelensky's leadership, we have the conditions, the possibility of a just and lasting peace. But that requires a willing Russia. And the barbarism that we saw overnight, the attack on Kyiv, shows just how important it is that we stand with Ukraine during this difficult time, and that we create the conditions for this just and lasting peace and a true reconstruction. And I want to underscore something that has happened in recent weeks is that the development of that possibility under your leadership, and also the prospect of true prosperity for the Ukrainian people. I'll just finish with one point on Canada. We've provided military assistance, further military assistance. We're announcing today further economic assistance for Ukraine, $2.5 billion worth of economic assistance that helps unlock financing from the IMF, from the World Bank, from the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, to begin this process of rebuilding.
Canada, thank you for your support, first of all, and thanks for your the words that you mentioned about this tonight attack. It was really very difficult, hard attack. The Russia launched more than 500 drones and dozens of missiles. And I think thanks for air defense of our partner, that's not enough. And this attack is again Russia's answer on our peace efforts, and it's really it shows that Putin doesn't want peace. And we want peace, and he's the man of war, but he's afraid to speak about publicly. But we see these steps, and what we need to stop this war in any way, and we need two things: pressure on Russia and sufficient strong support for Ukraine. We'll speak about it. We will speak about air defense, and it's really last weeks we had good steps in diplomacy, but we can't live in illusion that it gives us possibility to have less air defense. With Russia, it doesn't work. So thank you very much, Mark, for this meeting. We will have bilateral, and as you said, we will join our European friends. And tomorrow I will have, I hope, very important and very constructive meeting with President Trump. Very good.
Thank you, everyone.
So as we mentioned, that was that meeting between Mark Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada, as well as Zelensky. And later on today, he will be meeting with President Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago out in West Palm Beach, Florida, where he's hoping that they can finalize that peace deal between Ukraine and Russia and end this 4-year-long war. So that's the latest that we have there on that. Now, if we can go back to me in studio, I just heard that there is supposed to be a press conference pretty soon with the National Transportation Safety Board. I am hoping, it is my plan, that we will be able to get that out to you live, but we're still working on the logistics of how to make that happen. We'll be talking to you a little bit more about what exactly happened out there. We learned that a small aircraft crashed into a tree, then hit the ground, and that 2 pilots who were in the plane at the time came down. You're actually taking a look at a map. Our meteorologist Alex Forbes just made this, where you can see exactly where it is that this is believed to have taken place. So as soon as we know more information, we'll try to get it out to you. And if we can get that press conference, which is supposed to start at noon, so about 10 minutes, trust me, we will make sure we get that out to you too. We'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back to Fox 5 News Live. I'm Judea Murray. We are keeping up with that breaking news situation that we were telling you about, where we know that there has been a small aircraft crash out in Doraville. We also learned that parts of that small aircraft ended up in Dunwoody. And so we're hoping that in a couple of minutes we'll be able to get you this live press conference where the National Transportation Safety Board will be talking a little bit more about what happened out there and the injuries. At this point in time, we do know that 2 people were injured. I can say that while Dunwoody law enforcement officers told us that those 2 people were 2 pilots, I am noticing that all of the other statements that we are getting from every other law enforcement agency has not mentioned whether or not they were pilots, or at least one person was just a passenger. So I do want to make that differentiation. The other thing I can tell you is DeKalb County law enforcement officers told us that this was a 6-seater plane. So they're saying it's a small aircraft, 6-seater plane that hit a tree about 2 miles away from the airport out in the Peachtree DeKalb Airport. And it appears that once it hit that tree, it came crashing down in a residential area. We actually have a map of that area. And our meteorologist, Alex Forbes, was telling us a little while ago that he believed that, not that he believed, that we could see as he was zooming in that there were a lot of trees in that area, and then eventually we could also see that there were some homes littered across the roadway out there. So just to give you an idea of everything, of all of which this took place. We also know that that plane did not hit any other structures, so it didn't hit any other buildings. We don't have any indication that anybody else was hurt in this besides the 2 people there that I told you about, who have since been taken to Grady Memorial Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. That is a blessing in all of this, especially given how bad this could have been. We are also hearing from the Federal Aviation Administration. Not too long ago, they released a statement, so keep in mind I'm going to be reading this to you all. They say a Beechcraft B-90 crashed in a residential area near DeKalb Peachtree Airport in Georgia around 9:35 a.m. local time on Sunday, December 28th, today. 2 people were on board. The FAA will investigate. They also said that they would be posting a preliminary accident incident report, which will usually show up within 1 business day. So we can expect to see that tomorrow, maybe later on in the day, maybe even on Tuesday. As well as investigators will verify the aircraft registration number, and that can also be searched online. So once we get that more information, we'll try to have an article put up for you guys so you can keep up to date with this. But again, if I can just start back over of all the information that we have gathered since we heard that this was happening. First, from DeKalb County Fire Rescue, we heard that there was a small aircraft crash. 2 people were injured in that. From there, we heard from Dunwoody Police Department's Sergeant Michael Cheek. He told us that that small plane crash happened on Homeland Drive within the city of Doraville, and that some pieces of the plane ended up in Dunwoody, and that's why his officers joined the investigation. It ended up in their jurisdiction. We also learned that those 2 people who he says were pilots, not the other law enforcement agencies we've been in contact with haven't confirmed that they are pilots or just regular passengers or one of each. But he says both were pilots. He says they are both alive. They just sustained non-life-threatening injuries. He also confirmed that they were taken to Grady Memorial Hospital. We also got from him that no other buildings or anything else was damaged at this point in time, that no one else was injured. We also heard from DeKalb County itself that this was a 6-seater plane and that it hit a tree about 2 miles away from DeKalb Peachtree Airport here in Georgia. It appears hit that tree about 60 feet above the ground and then hit the ground in a residential area. And you're seeing a map there of that area. They were also able to confirm, just like Dunwoody Police, that it did not hit any other structures and that no one else was believed to be injured, but that those 2 people who were injured were on board at the time. Last but not least, we heard from the FAA, who has now confirmed that this was a Beechcraft B-90 that crashed in a residential area near the airport at around 9:35 a.m. Eastern Time, our local time, and that the FAA will be continuing this investigation. We also learned from them that they'll be posting a preliminary accident incident report that should show up on their website probably around this time tomorrow, maybe a little later on in the day, maybe even on Tuesday. We also learned that through their investigation, they'll be able to verify that aircraft registration number. And then from there, we can search more about what type of aircraft that was. So that's what we have so far. And we also heard that around noon, they're expecting to be hosting a press conference where they can give us some more information about this. We're still trying to work out the logistics of how to get that to you live. But as soon as we figure it out, we'll try to get it here before our show is over. In the meantime, it's about that time that we take a quick step back. But when we come back, we'll either continue talking about this, listening to the press conference, or maybe I'll be going over some more news of the day with you all. We'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back to Fox 5 News Live. I'm Judea Murray. We are still trying to get those logistics figured out for you, but I do want to remind you that we are covering some breaking news of a small aircraft crash in which we have learned 2 people were injured, but thankfully are not harmed at all in this situation. I want to get you out. We did get to talk to the Assistant Chief of Police from the Doraville Police Department, Brian Harris, who was able to give us a little bit more information about what was happening out there.
No injuries to any occupants on the ground from the plane crash. There's still debris that's scattered over several yards, and there could be some damage from trees on top of houses. But right now, we haven't seen any substantial damage to any homes from the accident from the aircraft.
From what you've seen, is this a single-engine plane?
We know it's a propeller-driven plane. From what I've seen, the plane is pretty badly damaged, and it's really kind of hard to tell how many props are on it. We know it's a propeller-driven aircraft at this time.
We were talking earlier about just how truly amazing it is that no one was injured and that this could have been worse. Can you speak on that?
It is an absolute Christmas miracle that 2 people crashed in an aircraft and walked away from it, and no one on the ground was injured. We're truly blessed, and right now it's going to be up to NTSB to do their investigation as to where it came from, why it went down, and to talk with the pilot. So our job right now is just to manage the scene, keep it contained until they can get on, because it's a federal investigation.
Obviously, with the proximity to the Peachtree DeKalb Airport, that we would imagine has something to do with it.
Correct. The aircraft is clearly going to PDK, and as you can see as we're talking, there's aircraft going over us all the time. This is one of the flight pathways to PDK.
And you imagine you all will be here for quite some time.
Correct.
So avoid this area, that street?
We're going to be able to open up the access road shortly once the fire department leaves, because it's about 3 or 4 houses down a street. So there should be no issues with the motoring public as far as access to and from the neighborhood or up and down 141.
Great. And no one was displaced?
No.
From their homes? And in terms of that debris pickup, is that more NTSB's jurisdiction there?
Correct. They have, it's not like we call for a wrecker to pick up a vehicle. There's special removal of aircraft that they have to facilitate because it's their crime scene, so to speak, and they're going to have to remove it on their own.
All right, so you guys were listening in there to Brian Harris, the Assistant Chief of Police from the Doraville Police Department, giving us that little bit of information that we do have now on that aircraft crash that we do know happened in Doraville. So I want to go back over some of the top details that we have gotten at this point in time to make sure that you guys are aware of what we know at this moment. So earlier today at around 9:35, we believe a small aircraft crashed into a tree about 60 feet up in the air and then crashed into the ground in a residential area. This all taking place on Homeland Drive in Doraville. Then we heard that some pieces of that small plane had actually landed in parts of Dunwoody, and so the Dunwoody Police Department ended up joining that investigation. From there, we learned that 2 people were injured in this crash who have been taken to Grady Memorial Hospital and are being treated for their injuries, but we do know that those were non-life-threatening injuries, which Brian Harris called a Christmas miracle, that no one else was hurt, that these people were only hurt and not killed. And so that is what we know so far. We also know that the National Transportation Safety Board has been notified. They were expected to hold a press conference at around noon. It's now 12:06. I'm not seeing it anywhere, but we are sending another team to the site of this crash. We're hoping to get that, maybe that picture live for you. It's going to take a minute for our photojournalists to get out there. But we also heard that the FAA has also joined this investigation. They say that this was a Beechcraft B-90 aircraft that crashed in that residential area. And this is all happening right by the DeKalb Peachtree Airport here in Georgia, by the way. Again, 9:35 a.m. our time, Eastern time, happening today. 2 people on board of a small aircraft crashed and were injured in that crash have been taken to the hospital, and that the FAA will investigate. They should be posting a preliminary accident or incident report that usually is available within the next business day. So we're hoping to get that for you guys tomorrow if you're able to still stream with us or keep up with us on the Fox Local app. We also know that investigators will be verifying the aircraft registration number, which will give us even more information about this aircraft and everything that could have potentially have gone wrong with it. We have a map of this area so that you are able to know exactly where this took place. We know it's near the DeKalb Peachtree Airport, and as we go deeper down, you can see all of the trees in that area. We also know that, again, this is a residential area. You can see those houses kind of littering along 141 out there. Also very close to Interstate 285, and that some of the aircraft potentially landed in Dunwoody's neck of the woods, which is how those police officers got involved in the investigation. Still learning more about this, still hoping to eventually be able to get you a live press conference that gives you some more information about this. But just in case we can, I'm really happy that we were able to talk to you more about what's happening out there, and we'll continue to keep you updated. I want to bring now in our meteorologist, Alex Forbes, who's been helping me break this news to you guys as well. I know we're also talking about the weather forecast, but I want to give you the floor. Is there anything else you want to say about this before we?
Yeah, so just a couple of things from this morning. Obviously, it was really foggy outside.
Yeah,
it's not going to say that that's the cause of what we saw transpire in Doraville, but you can't be talking about this and not acknowledge the fact that it was somewhat foggy out there, particularly that much later into the morning hours. The other thing I would say, this is very close to DeKalb Peachtree Airport, but it's not right up on it. It's a couple miles away. If you're familiar with the area, it's just north of 285 and 141. Most people know that as where the BrandSmart USA sits, and then of course you've got that.
Yes.
Yeah. It's literally right there. So it's just north of that, and Tilly Mill Road, which has a number I just happen to know that there's a quick trip right there. You get off 141. It's kind of that limited access part of 141, which is right where this is. Point being, it's in a really populated area. So the fact that this happened in that area and only the 2 people on the plane walked away with minor injuries and nothing else, I mean, I don't know what more you can ask for in this situation.
I'm not going to lie, Alex, that's what really put it in perspective for me. Yes, I was looking at the map, but for whatever reason, I just couldn't completely conceptualize this exact area. But once you're the BrandSmart, drive by there all the time.
It's literally right there. It's maybe a little more, maybe like a half mile to a mile south of. It's right there where 141 and 285 come together, and then the assembly place is just north of where the Doraville label is, where you see all that concrete and cement. So it's literally right up on it. And another thing worth noting in all of this, just 2.5 miles off to the west, the King and Queen building, the State Farm headquarters, right? That's going to be that big area that's developed in the Dunwoody, Sandy Springs area. So it's relatively close to that as well. Likewise, you go over toward 85. I mean, Spaghetti Junction's maybe 3-ish miles away. That's going to be right there just inside the DeKalb County line before you cross into Gwinnett. So a very densely populated area. I don't know how many different ways we could say it, but that it is right up on it. And again, only 2 people injured, and both non-life-threatening injuries.
So when he said it was a Christmas miracle, that is exactly what he meant.
Yeah. So do a hard pivot from that over to the weather.
Yeah.
So let's do it. Yesterday broke a record 78 degrees is our new record high temperature for Saturday. The date, that would be December 27th. Previous record was 75, set back in 2015. And we also defeated a record on Christmas Eve, and that is going to be in the record books here for at least the next little while. I'll tell you what, I want to fish out real quick. I got to do some scrolling here. The afternoon planner. Maybe, if it wants to come out. I don't think it does. So let's go over to today's high temperatures, why don't we?
Okay.
Maybe. Loading. 70 in Atlanta, 72 in Covington, 73 in Eatonton, 69 in Athens, 65 over in Blairsville and in Gainesville. How about 75 up there in Rome today? Might see a couple peaks of sun. But It's all about to come crashing down, not to be honest. It's about to turn cold across metro Atlanta and North Georgia. So 70 today, 58 tomorrow, but tomorrow is going to be one of those weird days where it cools through the afternoon instead of warm. So we're going to be near 60 to start, but then by the time we get towards 3 in the afternoon, temperatures in the 40s, wind chills in the 30s, and then we'll start a steady climb here through the next couple of days as we ring in 2026. Look what it does to the low temperatures. Again, don't really pay attention to Monday because it's not an accurate representation there. 25 by the time we get to Tuesday morning, but that is not telling the full story. Watch this now. Wind chill, 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, 35 in Dalton, 51 in Atlanta, 62 in Eatonton. That's what you call a sharp gradient moving in. So we go from 51 at 6 a.m. to 35 by 9 a.m. to 33 by 10 a.m., 24 in Dalton, 22 in Blairsville, 32 in Gainesville, 39 in Athens. And then we kind of stay there through the afternoon. Actual air temperatures will be in the 40s, will be in the 30s for wind chills pretty much area-wide through the daylight hours, but as soon as that sun sets, temperatures falling down into the 20s, wind chills I should say, falling down into the 20s. Temperatures will follow suit shortly, but we will be waking up in the teens in terms of wind chills by the time we get to Tuesday morning. This is 8 a.m. Tuesday morning. I would expect single digits as far south as the North Metro. I would expect maybe some negative values up above 3,500 feet. Again, that would be along the ridge line, basically from Dawson County up through Rabin County, the highest parts of Georgia below freeze, or below zero, that is. No, that's not going to happen anywhere else, right? If you're watching from Ackworth right now, you're not getting below freezing in terms of a wind chill. You'll probably be in the teens. In fact, if you're watching from, say, down near Lakes Oconee and Sinclair, you'll probably be only 15 at the coldest. So that's only up there in the North Georgia mountains that we would be looking at the really cold stuff. Again, rebounding by the time we get to Tuesday afternoon. I mentioned this earlier. A lot of people are drawing comparisons to 2022. While we will be very cold, it is not going to be like 2022 because we are not going to stay below freezing for an extended period of time. That was the problem then when everybody's pipes froze between Christmas and New Year's.
I remember.
We're not going to be doing that song and dance. We'll get up to 42 in the afternoon, and we'll have a lot of direct sunlight, so I'm not concerned about that any way, shape, or form, but maybe through the overnight, drip your pipes, particularly if you have faucets or any sort of water piping on an exterior wall.
Okay, that makes sense. And that's our advice, of course, for our renters, our homeowners. I'm also seeing that tomorrow there should be some warming centers open just in case you are somebody or know someone without shelter at all.
Right, and just remember through the day tomorrow, you wake up at 7 a.m. going, that guy's crazy. It's not cold outside. I might be crazy, but trust me, it's going to get cold outside.
I was going to say, let that time go by.
Yeah.
You'll be singing a new song and doing a new dance. All right, you guys, we are going to keep up with our top news of the day. We'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back to Fox 5 News Live. I want to see if we can take a live look out at the airport where we are tracking delays and cancellations. I know a lot of you are trying to get into your new destination for the new year, or maybe you're just trying to get home from the holidays. Well, here's what you can expect. Let's start with checking the FAA's website for the National Airspace System. It looks like we still do not have any ground delays, ground stops, departure delays, none of that, thank goodness, at the Atlanta airport, which is also the world's busiest airport. But I also want to check live for Flight Aware, their misery map, and see where we're at in terms of cancellation and delays. Our time now is 12:17, and there are currently 250 delays out of Hartsfield-Jackson. We're also seeing 125 cancellations, so I can only imagine what's going to happen tonight when more people get to the airport, hoping to make those late night flights, or even, now we're getting into the midday, those midday flights. I can tell you that a majority of those canceled and delayed flights are coming from Delta Airlines, which is to be expected. Atlanta is the hub for Delta Airlines. So that's what we're looking at. If you or a loved one have a flight today, you can expect that there's probably going to be some incident, but don't just take my word for it. Go ahead and make sure you've got your airline's app downloaded onto your phone, because once there is a delay or a cancellation or anything else happening with your flight, they'll be able to get you that information as soon as possible. Also, I will keep reminding people that you can check the Department of Transportation's website, because if there is a delay, if there is a cancellation, you may be in for some sort of voucher, or for food, or a voucher for travel, or even for a hotel. Those are things that you might not know are available to you, that could be awarded to you in case something happens with your flight. So just want to make sure that you know that you can check that. What it'll look like, just so you know what you're looking for, it is going to be a table, and it's going to be broken down by each airline, and then from there you'll be able to see what they give people in the case of, let's say, a 4+ hour delay, or a cancellation that won't have a flight for you until the next day, something like that. So that's what we're keeping up with. We are also, of course, keeping up to date with this news of a small aircraft crash near the DeKalb Peachtree Airport. So I want to see if we can get you a map of that area. You are taking a look at where we heard that plane came down out in Doraville. We also heard that parts of that small plane ended up in Dunwoody. So this all happening at around 9:35 a.m. Small aircraft came down, hit a tree about 60 feet off the ground, and then came crashing down into a residential area. They believe that 2 people were injured during this crash. It's all taking place on Homeland Drive, right out there in Doraville. Now, the Dunwoody Police Department is looking into this. Doraville Police are looking into it. DeKalb County law enforcement and just regular officials are looking into it. The FAA is keeping their eyes on it, as well as the National Transportation Safety Board. With all that being said, here's some more information that we know. The 2 people who were on board, who, according to the Dunwoody Police Department Sergeant Michael Cheek, were pilots, but according to every other law enforcement agency that's talking to us, they were just 2 people who happened to be on the plane. They were both alive but injured. Thankfully, non-life-threatening injuries, both taken to Grady Memorial Hospital for some treatment, and we don't know their current condition at this point in time. We also heard from DeKalb County that this was a 6-seater plane that hit that tree about 2 miles away from the DeKalb Peachtree Airport. It also appears, again, that plane hit a tree and then came crashing down in that residential area, and somehow did not strike any other structures. So I was breaking this down with Alex a little earlier on our live stream, and we mentioned how this is such a high traffic area. A lot of people live over here, a lot of people do business over here. Once he said that this was the area of that Brand Smart, many of you guys have probably passed by it. You see, it kind of looks like a giant building made of the American flag, but that's kind of the area that we're talking about there. So we know if you go further down that road, you're going to see a bunch of restaurants. I believe there's even a car dealership over there. The Mike Reza Nissan is over in that area, and a couple of other car dealerships too. It's very close to I-285 and, of course, 141. So that is the area that we're looking at. Thankfully, we had this map here to show you everything that happened there. Our crew was on the scene, was able to get some pictures of the incident, or at least of officers responding to the incident. We also got to hear from Brian Harris, the Assistant Chief of Police from the Doraville Police Department. He was able to give a little more information on what it is that took place here. Let's see if we can listen into that.
No injuries to any occupants on the ground from the plane crash. There's still debris that's scattered over several yards, and there could be some damage from trees on top of houses, but right now we haven't seen any substantial damage to any homes from the accident from the aircraft.
From what you've seen, is this a single engine plane?
We know it's a propeller-driven plane. From what I've seen, the plane is pretty badly damaged, and it's really kind of hard to tell how many props are on the. We know it's a propeller-driven aircraft at this time.
We were talking earlier about just how truly amazing it is that no one was injured and that this could have been worse. Can you speak on that?
It is an absolute Christmas miracle that two people crashed in an aircraft and walked away from it, and no one on the ground was injured. We're truly blessed, and right now it's going to be up to NTSB to do their investigation as to where it came from, why it went down, and to talk with the pilot. So our job right now is just to manage the scene, keep it contained until they can get on, because it's a federal investigation.
Obviously, with the proximity to the Peachtree DeKalb Airport, that we would imagine has something to do with it.
Correct. The aircraft is clearly going to PDK, and as you can see as we're talking, there's aircraft going over us all the time. This is one of the flight pathways to PDK.
And you imagine you all will be here for quite some time.
Correct.
So avoid this area, that street?
We're going to be able to open up the access road shortly once the fire department leaves, because it's about 3 or 4 houses down a street. So there should be no issues with the motoring public as far as access to and from the neighborhood or up and down 141.
Great. And no one was displaced?
No.
From their homes? And in terms of that debris pickup, is that more NTSB's jurisdiction there?
Correct. They have, it's not like we call for a wrecker to pick up a vehicle. There's special removal of aircraft that they have to facilitate because it's their crime scene, so to speak, and they're going to have to remove it on their own.
All right, so you were listening there to Brian Harris, the Assistant Chief of Police, giving you some more information about everything that we know about this situation so far. And I'll go over those details with you one more time, just in case you are just now joining us, because I do see in our TikTok chat, Rhonda C., she asked where this happened. Rhonda, this is all happening out in Doraville. We learned that there was a small aircraft crash. 2 people were on board. Those 2 people thankfully did not die in this crash, but they are injured and were taken to Brady Memorial Hospital. We also know that when that plane crashed, they believe it hit a tree and then it came crashing down into a residential area. And just to give you a better idea of where this all took place, you're seeing the map there, 141 and I-285, somewhere in that area. But our meteorologist Alex Forbes gave me an even better way to describe this. You know the Brands Mart off of that interstate? That is the area that we're talking about. So yes, a lot of people live over there. You heard Brian Harris there say that this was a high traffic area in terms of people trying to come in and out of DeKalb Peachtree Airport. And so it's not at all wild, or this is expected to see airplanes in this area, and it's likely that they were trying to make a landing there at the airport. And then, eventually we learned that they did come down out in Doraville. To give you exact address, Homeland Drive is where we're thinking that this all took place. Some pieces of that aircraft landing in Dunwoody. And so other than that, I told you about the pieces of the plane coming down. I told you about the 2 people on board who, by the way, Dunwoody police have told us that they were 2 pilots, but we are also hearing from other agencies. They are just saying 2 people, so we'll go with 2 people injured in a small aircraft crash. we learned that this was a 6-seater plane that again struck a tree about 60 feet off of the ground, came down into that residential area. As far as we know, that plane did not hit any buildings. There was no structural damage, which is honestly, as Brian Harris said somewhere in that little piece that we heard there, that this was kind of like a Christmas miracle that more people weren't hurt during this, and that, you know, nothing else was struck during this, because again, it's a high volume area. And you could see from the map there, you see all of those trees, you see that deep down, you see homes in the area just littering around the interstate and the streets. So this really could have been a lot worse than it was. Thank goodness it wasn't. But all in all, we know that Dunwoody police are involved in the investigation. DeKalb County law enforcement agents and leaders are involved in this investigation. We also know Doraville police are, of course, and Doraville Fire and Rescue, by the way, involved in this investigation. We're also hearing from the National Transportation Safety Board, and we're hearing from the FAA. So a little bit of everybody has their hands in this investigation, trying to get you guys the most information that we can as quickly as possible and as accurately as we can. Last but not least, I'll let you know the FAA has told us that they should be able to get an accident or incident report up online. Usually they take about a business day to do it, so if we don't see it today, we may see it tomorrow about this time, or we could potentially be seeing it sometime on Tuesday. We also know that they'll try to get out the aircraft registration number, which would give us more information on what kind of aircraft this was. We do know right now it was a Beechcraft B-90, but it would let us know a little bit more about like how old this aircraft was, who owned it, stuff like that. So we're looking out for all of that information. But thank you guys so much for joining me here on Fox 5 News Live. This is what we're all about, trying to make sure we get you the latest information as soon as you need it right to your phones. So whether you were joining us on TikTok, thank you. I loved talking to a lot of you and hearing what stories you wanted to hear about. And also people who were joining us on YouTube. We had quite a few people who wanted to know more about the Buddhist monks. Where were they at currently and where will they be? Which, by the way, they are expected to make their way up. We're hoping that, I think we were thinking they were going to hit Atlanta, but I don't think that's going to happen until sometime tomorrow. So that was one of those big stories that everybody wanted to know a little bit more about. We also kept up with Aloka the dog, the peace dog, who's been joining them. You can see them marching their way through. And as we learned, once they hit people on the ground, they've been doing a lot of talking. They've been tying around some of those special bracelets for people. There's just a lot of peace. It's a nice way to end the year, and we know that they're trying to do this 120-day walk, hopefully making their way to Washington, D.C. by the end of it. They started all the way back in October.
2026 is on, and the World Cup is already making an impact. From new fan experiences taking shape in the New York, New Jersey region, to a teenager in Florida turning her dream into a professional contract. Plus, U.S. soccer legend Alexi Lawless on why this World Cup could spark another generation. Football HQ starts now. And welcome to Football HQ. I'm Mike Meebach. We are keeping our spotlight on the 2026 host cities, and this week we're teaming up with Philadelphia. Let's welcome this week's co-host, Chris O'Connell from Fox Local Philadelphia. Hey, Chris.
The city of brotherly love is getting ready for 6 World Cup matches. At the same time, we celebrate America's 250th birthday, right where the Founding Fathers signed the Declaration of Independence. Thousands of volunteers from around the globe will